Okay, so the war in Iran is raging on, and the U.S. is not doing well. We're running out of interceptors, the THAAD interceptors that they need. They're taking THAAD interceptors away from South Korea. North Korea is launching missiles. China is increasing military presence near Taiwan. Israel is invading Lebanon. The sanctions on Russia are lifted on any oil that's out in the seas right now. So they're profiting off of this now. They're safe to say it's not going well. Okay, like it's not going well. We keep on seeing videos of these drones hitting targets without any anything to stop them, basically. And even the things that we have seen that have tried to stop them. There was a video that came out of fucking Israel yesterday or the other day that you could see a drone coming and it shot two of those THAAD interceptor missiles. Each one is $1 million. They shot two at this little drone that cost like $50,000, and some of them can even cost even less than that. That's the high figure that I've heard. I've heard the lowest figure that I've heard for those little Shahed drones are is like 7,000. So it's somewhere between 7,000 and 50,000, and they can make them faster than they can like use them. So it's not going well. It's not going well. Those, like I said, that interceptor shot at that Shah drone, and it missed. Two missiles missed. That's $2 million wasted. Plus, it caused a huge explosion in Tel Aviv, which we haven't even gotten to see how badly Tel Aviv has been struck because they have been censoring everything that's been coming out of Israel and all of the fucking damage and all the fucking any place that's been fucking hit. Because they always fucking do that because they don't want to project weakness. Too fucking late. You're projecting weakness. You know who else is projecting weakness? The United States of America. They're showing their fucking ass right now. Like this shouldn't be. If we're being real, if we're taking the United States for what their word has been, how they've built up their military for the past few decades, how propagandized they've tried to make the world on how strong their military is, then they should have been able to do this like that. You're not. You're not. You're not doing that at all. And plus, I saw a figure today. The those THAAD interceptors. I think you make like 12 a year, and you're running out. They can literally make those. Like I said already, they can make those little drones faster. They can fucking use them. It's not going well. It's not going well. So Trump, knowing that it's not going well, he's out here begging everybody else everybody else in NATO and European countries and all of his allies to come out and help him and like basically try and help clean up his mess that he fucking made. Him and Bibi Netanyahu, like the fuck. You break it, you bought it, bitch. This is your fucking problem. You should fucking fix it. Like, you open Pandora's box. It's not our problem to come fucking fix it. And I'm so fucking glad that everybody fucking said so. Even like, if France and Italy said no, in the G7, though, that's like the right flank of the G7. Like, Maloney and Macron, like those are like far right wingers. For them to just be like, no, fuck you, dude. Like, huh? You're you're shit out of luck, bud. SOL. That's fucked. So this motherfucker has the nerve to fucking actually like try and demand them to join the war and like shame them for not like you started an illegal offensive war for a war criminal, genocidal maniac. Why the fuck would they help you? Donald Trump has ratcheted up the pressure on European allies to help protect the Strait of Hormuz, warning that NATO faces a very bad future if its members fail to come to Washington's aid. Well, hopefully this will. I'm not going to shed a tear for the end of NATO. I think NATO should end anyways. There's no. It has only hurt sovereignty of other nations. I don't think it is beneficial to anybody except for the United States. And even then, is it like I don't? It's really only beneficial to like United States imperialism, which is just not it, dying breed. The U.S. president calls for allies to enter the war by sending ships to the Strait to protect commercial shipping vessels and unblock global oil supplies has met a muted response. Australia, France, Japan is extremely right wing as well. Sanai Takaichi, she's very right wing as well. And the UK are among the countries that have said they have no plans to send ships. And mind you, this is UK kid starver. Trump told the Financial Times in an interview it's only appropriate that people who are beneficiaries of the strait will help to make sure that nothing bad happens there. No, honey, that's not how that works. If there's no response, or if it's a negative response, I think it will be very bad for the future of NATO. Lick my cock from the back, you piece of fucking shit. Gelatinous blob, motherfucker. Dementia-ridden, syphilis-having ass. Did you see that fucking rash? He got some sort of fucking something. What is that? Necrotizing fasciitis? Like, he's rotting from the inside out, bitch. He's rotting from the inside out, bitch. Jesus. God, I hope it is bad for the future of NATO. Fuck NATO. Like, just disband NATO. Fuck NATO. On Sunday, Trump said his administration has already contacted 7 countries for support, but he declined to identify them. In an earlier social media post, he said he hoped China. No. Hey. Are they telling him anything? China has been getting oil this whole time through the Strait of Hormuz from Iran. Because when Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, or threatened to close it, or threatened to hit any ships going by, that does not include their own. Like, the complete idiocy. Like, this is an idiocracy. I swear to God. Like, what is going on? They are controlling the Strait of Hormuz, not letting anybody get past. The Trump regime actually thought that meant that Iran wouldn't be able to get anything through. So they thought that, oh, they won't do that because they're not going to be getting anything through. They're in control of it, you dumb fucks. They immediately did it after saying they would. This is like, oh my God. I can pull up tweets from Ali Khamenei's Twitter account from before he fucking died, when saying that we will close the Strait of Hormuz if you do this. China. You don't understand that they're helping Iran right now, right? You're not even allies with China. That's such an insane statement. France, Japan, South Korea. Bitch, you think the South Koreans are like... Okay, first of all, I doubt they're even over what you did to those 400 South Korean nationals in that Hyundai plant back in like July or August or whenever that was. You put them in shackles when they were here to train people on how to build these certain batteries. Like, they were here trying to help us, and you had them locked up in shackles, put them in detention centers, and then deported them. Now, you've moved the THAAD interceptors away from South Korea to protect Israel. And you left them out to dry. Now, fucking Kim, his fat ass, is fucking launching missiles, and they're sitting ducks. You had a treaty with them. Like, you were supposed to protect them, and you completely left them out to dry because you don't have enough of your fucking THAAD interceptors. And you started a war. Like, These are things you could have fucking thought about. Like, who starts a war and they're not prepared for it? Like, if anybody should not be prepared, it's the Iranians. They didn't start the illegal and offensive war. Britain and others would participate. I'm demanding these. I'm demanding, rather, the axis of evil. I'm demanding that these countries come in and protect their own territory. That's not how that works, baby. Just because they buy oil that comes through that strait does not mean that that's their territory, babe. Hello? Who? Because it is their territory. No. 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 Trump told reporters on board Air Force One on the way to Florida to Washington. Of course, he was in Mar-a-Lago golfing all weekend. War is going on. The country's going to be basically into a recession. Motherfuckers at Mar-a-Lago golfing. Cool. It's the place from which they get their energy. Yeah, which is why they want you to stop the war. And honestly, even if they do support, like, supporting you would only get their assets in the region attacked or get their ships attacked. They would be way better off negotiating with Iran, who says they're open to negotiating people who do not help the US or Israel in this illegal and offensive war. I mean, if you give me those two options, I'm going to ask Iran if we can fucking get some ships through there. The fuck? Fuck you. The president's appeals have failed so far to produce any commitments. Japan's Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi. I did a whole video on her. She's very right wing, like very. She's like protege of Shinzo Abe. She's very right wing. She doesn't even believe she's a woman president, but she doesn't believe that women should be able to succeed the throne. Very weird dynamic in her head. She said that Japan did not currently plan to dispatch naval vessels to escort ships in the Middle East, and confirmed the U.S. had yet to make a formal request for assistance. Well, don't. Australia has also pushed back on the request for naval assistance. We won't be sending a ship to the Strait of Hormuz. Transport Minister Catherine King told the national broadcaster, "We know how incredibly important it is, but that's not something we've been asked or we're contributing to." Like, because a social media post or like an interview with the Financial Times or like a press interview on Air Force One before you take off is not an official request. Like, what the fuck did he have the nerve to say, "I'm demanding that these countries come in and protect their own territory because it is their territory"? Trump told reporters on board Air Force One on the way from Florida to Washington on Sunday. Demanding? Like, what do you mean you're demanding? Do you honestly think that like all of those countries are like watching your every fucking word, watching every fucking interview you do? God. Okay. Ugh. The UK said it was considering dispatching aerial minesweepers to help clear the waterway of mines in an attempt to allow the flow of oil exports to resume. However, officials said sending ships could worsen the situation given the volatile nature of the war. Well, I mean, where do you get off what minesweeper? Like, leave it to the UK to come and be like, "Oh, we'll help with your colonial needs." Kill yourself. Like, I'm so tired. The UK and the duplicitous nature of those English fucks Most of them are great. But then there's like 40% of England that will always just be colonizers to their core. Fuck them. The French Foreign Ministry officials emphasized that their current military posture was aimed at ensuring regional stability rather than escalating the conflict. South Korea's presidential office said it would continue to communicate closely with the U.S. regarding this matter and make a decision after careful review, which means absolutely the fuck not. Especially after today, when was it, last night? Or I don't remember. It's so much happens so quickly. It's so hard to keep track of time. But fucking North Korea launched a fucking missile. And South Korea just lost its support from the US through its THAAD interceptors in the region. What the fuck? They're obviously the fuck not going to stretch their military thin, going to help you with your illegal and offensive war against a country that had no plans of attacking you or Israel, and your intelligence says that so. So, the fuck? Do you really, motherfucker, you really think people are coming to help you out now? This time? Jesus fuck, no, bitch. We're the coalition of the unwilling this time. The fuck? European countries have ruled out sending warships to the Strait of Hormuz, despite threats from Donald Trump that NATO faces a very bad future if members fail to reopen the vital waterway. If members fail to reopen, mind you, he's the reason that we're here. He is the reason that it's closed. Him and Benjamin Netanyahu are the reason that the strait is even closed in the first place. It's because they attacked a country that had no plans of attacking them. They started an illegal and offensive war where ostensibly, common sense, everybody knew they would close the fucking Strait of Hormuz, except for Donald Trump and his fucking cronies. This is your fault, bitch. What the fuck do you think we are? Your janitor? The hell? Eat my dick. Germany rolled out participation in any military activity, including efforts to reopen the strait. There was never... Germany is like Israel's cuck. I think they think it's like a virtuous thing because they, history. We committed a genocide on these people, so we have to help them commit their genocide, or else it will be uncouth. What do we do? Girl, think it through. Germany rolled out participation in any military activity, including efforts to reopen the strait. There was never a joint decision on whether to intervene. That is why the question of how Germany might contribute militarily does not arise. We will not do so, the Chancellor Friedrich Merz said. He added the Iranian regime must come to... Oh my God. Brother, come on. What? Of course. Even Mark Carney had to do that too. The posture. Girl, can we just, why? I'm not here going to defend the sanctity of the Iranian regime. It's a repressive regime. I understand. But when you capitulate to their framing, you are also capitulating to their propaganda. The fact that the Iranian regime has nothing to fucking do with you. The fact that it must come to an end is none of your fucking business. Maybe you should worry about yourselves. You know who else should probably come to an end? The Israeli regime. You have no problem supporting them. And I'm not going to fucking advocate for my fucking government to go fucking in Israel and do anything about it because it's Israel's fucking problem. You know what is the issue here? The fact that The US and Israel started an illegal and offensive war with a country that had no plans of attacking either of the two attacking countries. The two countries who started this war were not under threat. The Iranians capitulated to all the demands in negotiations, and then a couple hours later, they were bombed anyways. The problem here is the US and Israel. I don't give a fuck if you are allies with them or you feel beholden to them because of the fucking shit that happened 80 years ago. I don't give a fuck. What's happening right now is Israel and the United States started an illegal and offensive war. They committed war crimes. They've blown up schools, hospitals, civilian centers. There are thousands of people who are dead. Israel invaded Lebanon today. Like, what are you fucking talking about? Stop with the fucking, like, posturing. The Iranian regime needs to be taken out. They need to be taken out. Shut the fuck up. You know who's a lot worse? Net negative to the world? Benjamin Netanyahu. Donald Trump. I don't remember. What wars did Ayatollah Khamenei start? What wars did he start? Because I would like to know. Right. He didn't start any. He did not start any. What world leaders did he have assassinated? I'll wait. Because I can think of multiple examples for starting a war with America starting a war against Iran alone. This is the second war against Iran this term. And the United States murdered Mohammed Mossadegh. He was the one who was a democratically elected official, the one who, wanted to nationalize the oil industry. How dare he? And then United States, and in partnership with England, had him assassinated. And that is one of the first in a long lines of assassinations, coups, regime changes, invasions, illegal wars. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? My God. Based on all the experience we gained in previous years and decades, bombing it into submission is in likelihood not the right approach. Yep. Keir Starmer said the UK would not be drawn into the wider war, but was working on a visible plan. Ultimately, we have to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to ensure stability in the oil market. That is not a simple task, said the Prime Minister. He did not rule out any form of action, but said it would be agreed by as many partners as possible. Chicken shit. Italy's Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani said on Monday that diplomacy needs to prevail, and his country was involved in no naval missions that could be extended to the area. He cast doubt on expanding the remit of existing EU missions in the Red Sea to the Strait of Hormuz, since they are anti-piracy and defensive missions. Not looking good for you, Donnie. Australia, France, and Japan have said that they have no plans to send warships. At a press conference on Monday, Trump repeated his calls on his call on his allies to help reopen shipping in the strait, saying some are very enthusiastic about it and some aren't. Who? Name one. Who is enthusiastic about helping you in this legal offensive war? Who? I would love to know. Who? What am I, a fucking owl? Like, what are you fucking talking about, you bitch? Jesus fucking Christ. He reiterated he was not happy with the UK. Girl, they ain't happy with you either, bitch. They all hate you. But he thought he would be involved. Yeah, no. The answer is no. I could have told you that, bitch. Like, what? You dumb hoe. Obviously, they're not gonna fucking help. Honestly, if that's not obvious, but they did help with Iraq. Anyways, EU foreign ministers meeting on Monday decided against extending the remit of their small naval missions in the Red Sea, a proposal to change the mandate of Operation Escalated to help secure the strait drew little enthusiasm from member states, said the EU's foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas. European ministers have said they need to know more about the U.S.'s and Israel's war aims. The Estonian Foreign Minister Margus Dashkina said U.S. allies in Europe wanted to understand Trump's strategic goals. What will be the plan? He doesn't have one, honey. He doesn't have one, honey. Keep in mind that a lot of these, like, some of these people will give some, like, on the fence, chicken shit responses because they don't want to just, like, come out against Trump because they're so, like, their countries could, they're not, they're poor countries, don't have big military defense, like, don't have great trade agreements, like, you know what I mean? They are subject to a lot of pressure from the United States. So it's beneficial for them to sit on the fence, even though it is pretty chicken shit. Greece, which provides the headquarters for Operation Escalated, also said on Monday it would not engage in any military operations in the strait. Girl, it ain't looking good for you. It is not looking good. It is not looking good. Like, girl, who are you gonna call? Like, who are you gonna call? Who's left? Who's gonna help you? Russia's waging a war that they haven't been doing very well with, but now they're gonna do probably a lot better with all the money they're fucking making off of this war that you're allowing them to make. $5 billion a month. Russia is set to profit off of this war. The sanctions are continued to be lifted. China ain't gonna fucking come and help you. You have been acting like you guys have been enemies this whole, like, for like you're best friends with Japan. Make that make sense. Make that make sense, bitch. Yes, birds of a feather flock together, but damn. Okay, so in a rather shocking move, Trump's director of national counterterrorism has resigned today. And I was trying to make a sense of this. I mean, he released a letter completely exposing everything, clearly showing, like, descending for the war. Like, he blamed the war, Trump's involvement in the war, Trump's compromise by Israel for the war. He really went out with a bang, girl. And this is something I've never heard of in my entire life. I have gone back and learned about the key components of, like, things like Vietnam, the Iraq War. I've never, ever, ever, ever heard of somebody resigning in this fashion, so clearly showing dissent. Like, I've never heard of that. I've heard of it afterwards. Like, the people who were high-ranking officials would be, like, trying to, like, stop things internally, like, within certain organizations. But I've never heard of somebody coming out from the jump, resigning, and being like, no, I cannot be a part of this. This is unprecedented, like, for what I know of, like, especially within the government that started the war. Usually it's full of war hawks. Like Bush had a cabinet full of war hawks because he was ready and to go. Like, he was chomping at the bit from the fucking beginning. Like, anyways, so this motherfucker Joe Kent, he's a fucking weirdo. First of all, he is good for him. This act is heroic in a way, but You are not a hero, Joe Kent. Do not, let's not get it twisted. This is a bad person. Like he did a good thing, and a broken clock is right twice a day. But that motherfucker, we'll get into it. You'll see why I'm going into him. He is, let's just say he's far right, alt right, politically minded person, and Trump's counterterrorism chief quits over Iran war, blaming Israel and Donald Trump. Joe Kent resigned as National Counterterrorism Center director, saying Iran posed no imminent threat to the U.S. So I've never, like I said, I've never heard of this. This is unprecedented. Nobody has ever banged the drum and like been like, "Hey, this is wrong. We're doing like." Before all of the, well, there has been like war crimes every single day, but like usually the dissidents come out afterwards. This man is, like I said, like it's very brave for what he's doing, and to go against the regime in this fashion is it's brave. I have to say, because like we fucking Tucker Carlson was fucking he's being investigated by this fucking CIA now, and he's a fucking reporter that was talking to somebody from Iran before the war. This dude is the counterterrorism chief. What do you think he's gonna go through? Like, I don't even know. Like, what? And Trump is a petty little bitch. Like, I don't even know. And the fact that he went out the way he did, like he didn't even go out quietly. He released a whole letter. Like I said, he went out with a bang. So Kent, who worked under the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, so before we get into this, so that's another thing. He's an ally of Tulsi Gabbard. This is not looking good for Tulsi Gabbard, I don't think, because if we're looking at things based on past behavior and actions, Trump has started to fire people, starting with Kristi Noem. And I honestly do think that Dan Bongino was kind of given the boot internally. Like they kind of gave him the respect of, you can resign or we'll fire you. And he chose to resign. I think that's what happened. In my head, that's my theory. That's alleged because there's no proof of that, and nobody has ever admitted that. But that's what I think happened. And so it starts with Dan Bongino, a black man, and then goes to Kristi Noem. I think the next one to go might be Tulsi because she was against this Iran war from the jump. Like they literally started calling her her title is DNI, Director of National Intelligence. They were calling her Do Not Invite, DNI, because they didn't want her to know about the Venezuela operation. I'm sure. I think, and then this operation with Iraq, because she's has been fervently anti-war for years, and now all of a sudden she's been silent since the beginning of this fucking war. So I don't know. You're probably on thin ice, girl, but she's over there doing like election fraud, and I don't know, in my opinion. But if we're going, like I said, going on past behavior and actions, Dan Bongino, a black man, and then Kristi Noem is a woman. Probably Tulsi Gabbard, another woman. And the next one to go will be Kash Patel, an Indian man. So like they'll probably go up the list, and then like the economy will probably get so bad that Scott Bessent will go. Like they're a gay man, by the way. So you can kind of see the hierarchies playing out because there's less of a rope given to people who are marginalized. Like they don't get as many chances, and so if you are fucking up just as much as the next person who is not marginalized, you're gonna go first. It's just the way that these supremacist structures work. These patriarchal white supremacy structures, just how it is, especially in America, especially Donald Trump, that racist old fucking pig, misogynistic prick. So Joe Kent, the guy who resigned today, is a former Special Forces warrant officer with extensive combat experience. I think he was an Iraq veteran, I believe. Yeah, it doesn't say where. His wife, Shannon Kent, a Navy cryptologic technician, was killed in action in 2019 during a suicide bombing in Manbij in Syria. So this man has like I'm anti-military, but like this man clearly is not. His whole life has been dedicated to seemingly the military. He lost his wife for the military. Clearly he believes in it. So you can just imagine how hard it probably was for him to be like, no, I'm not fucking doing this. This is fucking insane. What the fuck are you doing? Hopefully this is the first in a long line of resignations. Like it at this point, like the time is now. If you're not getting out, you're not planning to get out, get out. Get out now. The time is now. You should never have been a part of this fascistic regime in the first place. But Jesus fucking Christ. Do you want to be the next Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell, Dick Cheney? Or, like, do you want to be them? Because I don't think we're going to let the next ones free. We're not going to let them go next time. Because it pissed me the fuck off. It made my blood boil that Dick Cheney died a free man. He deserved to rot in jail. And so does George Bush. So I actually pulled up his letter that he posted. And before the letter, he said, after much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. It has been an honor serving under POTUS and D&I Gabbard and leading the professionals at NCTC. May God bless America. That's a very strong statement. I mean, like, this is the state. I've been saying this since day one, since even before the war. But for him to come out and say this is a very big deal. Because like I was saying earlier, like I've never heard of this because it's such a big deal. Like nobody did this. Nobody had the fucking balls to do this in Vietnam. Nobody had the fucking balls to do this in Iraq. Like I just mentioned Colin Powell. He tried to dissent internally and then tried to play the fucking American public for a fool. Like went out and lied anyways. And now he is looked at like a piece of fucking shit, warmonger, bloodthirsty weirdo. Because he went out and fucking propagandized the public. Like he went out and lied. That is what the status quo has been. People go out and lie to the public, even though they know that what they're saying is horribly wrong. So he posted an open letter to fucking Donald Trump. Jesus Christ. After much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. And actually, Tulsi Gabbard, I want you to read this over. Read this over a few times. Because this is what having a principled stance looks like. This neo-Nazi fuck, I'm jumping the gun. Yeah, he's a neo-Nazi weirdo. We'll get to it. But this motherfucker has a stronger principled stance than you do, Tulsi Gabbard. And you were screaming for years about being anti-war. Don't go to war with Iran. All the fucking shit. You were banging the drum about all the shit that America has done all over the fucking world. And like, now what? Where are you now? DNI? Director of National Intelligence? Where are you? With your villain streak? Like, come on. Where are you, bitch? Like, where are you? Investigating for election fraud? Jesus Christ. My God. Have a backbone. Seriously. I support the values and the foreign policies that you campaigned on. Oh my God. And the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, and 2024, which you enacted in your first term. Not true. Not true. Not true. He was anti-war and pro-peace and anti-forever war and all this fucking shit. And then he had Qasem Soleimani murdered. He ripped up the Iran deal in his first term. He moved the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. He increased the drone war by 431% or 432, over 430%. He increased the drone war by over 430%. 430%. He did not enact any of that shit in his first term. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know what kind of crack you're smoking, but maybe it's a good thing you stepped down because you were high. Like what? Until June of 2025. Okay, so until June of 2025. So you've had issues since then? So the first war wasn't enough for you? And like the 8 countries he's bombed? I don't understand these people. You understand that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. Did he understand that, or did he just say that because he's a con man? In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into Oh my God. So the warmongering you did back then is completely fine, but this war, don't do that. So, like, all of the war crimes you did when you were president the first time, those were fine because you didn't actually start a war. You were fine. You should have just been blowing those people up. You should have been having people murdered. This person is a duplicitous, snaky fuck. What is he talking about? Look at this. Oh my! I just saw the next part. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Qasem Soleimani and defeating ISIS. Okay. Early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. What about his entire cabinet? What about Lindsey Graham? What are you fucking talking about? I mean, like, here's the thing: is that like all of these people have the ability to criticize everybody else in the cabinet besides Trump. It's like we're not at this like the United States is not at war because Israel was pressuring him. The United States is at war because Donald Trump decided to go to war. That is where we are at. You want to know why? Because this has been a wet dream of Benjamin Netanyahu for 40 years. He said it himself after the strikes. After the war began, he said he's yearned to do this for 40 years. Every single president in that time, in the past 40 years, has told him to go fuck himself. Even Trump the first time. So this is not pressure from the Israeli lobby. This is literally just Trump. Trump decided to do this. He's a grown man, actually. Criticize the person who actually sent the country to war. All these, like, if you're going to have a backbone, have a fucking backbone. Don't be fucking chicken shit about it. You have some fucking conviction, you little bitch. Jesus Christ. Like I said, what he's doing is very brave, but he's still a bitch. Just because people do the right thing every now and then does not mean that they are good people. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been saying a ton of great stuff for the past couple months. That doesn't mean that she is not a duplicitous fuck. She is. She's a grifter. She's a transphobic weirdo. She is a fucking bitch. I don't care. She is. And like, the fact that she has a few correct opinions that has no standing on her morals. She is a bad person. And so is this motherfucker. Like, just because he did the right thing today doesn't mean that. Oh my God. Joe Kent. Let's say January 6th, 19. That's his fucking Twitter handle, bitch. Like, what a fucking psycho. It does go to show, though, like, he is, like, going out against Trump. He still doesn't even have the balls to actually, like, be like, you started this. It's all Israel's fault. Which, I'm not shifting the blame away from Israel either. This is also, like I said, this is Benjamin Netanyahu's wet dream. The war is overwhelmingly majority approval. Like the polls in Israel are majority overwhelmingly approving of this war. So they have a very big role in this, but so does Donald J. Trump. He is the president of the United States of America. He is the commander-in-chief of the military. He is the one who put the country in war illegally, an offensive war of choice where the country you attacked did not pose any imminent threat to you. And you can see it in the fucking Counterterrorism Center director's resignation letter. So this echo chamber was used to deceive you. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's 79 years old. He's a grown man. Like, unless you want to come out and say the bitch has dementia, that fat ass up there in diapers, where, like, that motherfucker, the face full of makeup that he slapped on, looks like shit. Him, that guy's demented. He's being taken advantage of. If that's the lane you want to go down, cool, I'm with you. But like, if you're gonna be like, he is this little, like, helpless deer in the woods, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, sit the fuck down and shut the hell up, bitch. That's not. What? Deceive you into believing that Iran posed imminent threat? No. Everybody worth a damn with any knowledge or expertise, all the careerists within the military, the Pentagon, told him this is a bad idea. Do not do this. And he did it anyways because he wanted to. deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States and that you should strike now, or should you strike now, there was a clear path to a swift victory. No, I mean, like, yes, the Israeli lobby in Israel did say that to him, but everybody else, anybody who worked for him, all of his intelligence officials, all said no, don't do it. Do not do it. It's a bad idea. And he said, no, it'll be only like we'll be in and out 4 days. Bitch, you open Pandora's box and you aren't able to fucking close it. Like you too late, bitch. You open that shit. And now you gotta fucking fix it. You can't. Death to America. Like you keep on talking about how, oh, they've been saying death to America for 47 years. Baby, you're sowing your own future. Sow your own oats, babe. Like, this was a lie. Oh my god. Okay. And is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into the disastrous Iraq war that cost our nation the lives and thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again. Well, that's actually true. Benjamin Netanyahu was at the UN, like propagandizing the people, the American public, to fucking go invade Iraq. He was doing that. So there's footage of it. You can go see. So that part is true. As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves to no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. I'll finish it first, but I have something to say. But I pray that you will reflect upon what we are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. The time for bold action is now. You can reverse course and chart a new path for our nation, or you can allow us to slip further toward decline and chaos. You hold the cards. It was an honor to serve in your administration and to serve our great nation. Okay, give it up. Like, he can't help but glaze. Like, Jesus fuck. You are all of these fucking people. Every time they have to do like go against the administration or go against Trump, they will dance around the fucking point and blame everybody around him and not go for the actual person who's actually making the fucking decisions. He holds the cards, bitch. Like, in your words. The fuck are you talking about? So what he said here, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to American people nor justifies the cost of American lives. Does that mean that internally there are plans for boots on the ground? Because he says, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war. There has been an increase in the military buildup in the region, but it's not the whole next generation. I don't know. Maybe just a figure of speech. I don't know. But it just, because that paired with the fact that he's resigning now. I mean, we're 3 weeks in. You knew what was going on like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, the first day. You knew what was going on the first war. What was so bad about this one? They're so different that you had to resign. Do you have knowledge of boots going to be on the ground? Like, these people. Kent ran for Congress in Southwest Washington State after his wife's death in 2022 and 2024, losing both times to Marie Gluesenkamp Perez. Those were the two choices. Slim fucking pickings, huh? Wow. Though the district is relatively conservative, Trump won this district in 2024. Kent's campaigns were marred by associations with figures on the far right and white nationalists, such as Graham Jorgensen, a member of the far right military group the Proud Boys, and Joey Gibson, the founder of the Christian nationalist group Patriot Prayer. I've never heard of that one. This motherfucker coming up with new neo-Nazi groups. I don't even... See, this motherfucker, I told you, duplicitous as fuck. He is not a good person. Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene, it isn't a good person. Candace Owens, terrible fucking person. I have a tangent about Candace Owens, but we should finish this first. Kent also embraced anti-government conspiracy theories, such as the argument that the FBI and the intelligence community were involved in the January 6th. He also embraced anti-government conspiracy theories, such as the argument that the FBI, the intelligence community, were involved in the January 6th attack at the U.S. Capitol, and that the 2020 election was stolen by Joe Biden. Mind you, the FBI and the intelligence community were controlled by Trump at the time. Also, this motherfucker was one of the people in the fucking Signalgate group chat. Like, did you do anything good? Trump responded to the news of Kent's resignation at a White House St. Patrick's Day reception. Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Saying he had read Kent's resignation statement and claiming he did not know him well. Why did you appoint him if you didn't know him well? Okay. You didn't know him well. I always thought he was a nice guy. That's like what happens what you say when someone dies and you didn't know them. I always thought he was a nice guy. He wasn't always such a nice guy. But I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. Has anything the government done projected weakness, insecurity before the war? Like, the war is projecting a bunch of fucking weakness. All the way that Iran is fucking you guys up, that is projecting weakness. Specifically to China, Russia, North Korea, everybody in the fucking region. But I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but he's demented. Who knows what the fuck he's talking about? When I read that statement, I realized it was a good thing that he was out because he said Iran was not a threat. All of your intelligence says that. All of it. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. Then why is nobody helping you? Why is nobody helping you, bitch? Why is nobody helping you? Hello? Quickly. Why has nobody signed up to help you in your illegal offensive war? Huh? Is it because they pose no threat to you? And it's an illegal and offensive war? Oh. I did a whole fucking video on about this bitch last night. This bitch is begging people for fucking help, demanding people for help. And they're all like, nah, we good. If they were such a big threat, then why haven't people signed on to help you? You are a dumb bitch. Like, shut the fuck up. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. So when someone is working with us that says they didn't think Iran was a threat, we don't want those people. They're not smart people. They're not savvy people. Bitch, I don't even think you can read. So, like, mind your business. Like, you are so stupid. You are a dumb bitch. You are probably the most idiotic president in the history of the United States of America. Not probably. You are. You are a dumb bitch. You are stupid. You have a comprehension level that is very low, like in the dumps. Low IQ individual, you could call it. All right. So hopefully, like, more people need to fucking do this. Like, the time is now, bitch. The time is now. You need to get out. Unless you want to be fully signed on with this Hitler fascistic regime and you want to be remembered in the history book for being such a disgusting, warmongering piece of shit, then okay, stay on. But if you want to be remembered for actually having the balls to dissent, then the time is now. The time is past due, but this is like, it's now or never, bitch. It's now or never. Jesus. Oh, okay. I want to get a fucking page, like, just a few minutes. I watched because I want to know, like, if I'm gonna be doing this, I want to know, like, what the right wing is saying to a certain degree, and I watched all 6 episodes of the Candace Owens documentary Bride of Charlie, and ooh, I what an insane person. What a bigoted piece of shit. Wow. She is like, wow. Episode 4 was the most anti-Semitic thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I think it was episode 4 or episode 5, one of the two. It was, oh my God. It was just like nonstop. My jaw was on like the floor. This lady is insane. I could go in depth into it, but like, this is not the point of the video. I'm just like, she popped in my mind and I had to like rant about it for a second. She's insane. That's great. Like, I watched 6 episodes of craziness, and yes, it was entertaining, but but it was crazy. The things coming out of her mouth was crazy. God. The most anti-Semitic person I think I've ever parasocially interacted with in my entire life. That was crazy. Okay, so over the weekend, Tucker Carlson exposed that he is being investigated by the CIA. Now, I think that Tucker Carlson is a duplicitous bitch-ass snake. I don't think he can be trusted for as long as you can throw him. If as soon as Trump does something that he likes, he'll be clapping like a seal, like he was after Venezuela was invaded and Maduro was kidnapped, abducted in the middle of the night, and arrested illegally. This motherfucker, I don't know. He says he stands for one thing, and then 5 to 10 years later, he's standing for the exact opposite. I don't trust this motherfucker for anything. This is a man who was fired from Fox News for lying. Fox News. The Lie Factory. That motherfucker got fired from Fox News for lying. That should be immediately disqualifying to anybody, anywhere. You started independent media. You started your own podcast. You're interviewing, but you should just go retire in shame. Go live in Maine and retire, babe. Just get out of here. Shoo. But of course, can't kill a cockroach. He's back. And for how duplicitous and how sneaky I think he is, and how much of a bitch that I know he is allowed to be a duplicitous, sneaky bitch and have his opinions that are duplicitous and sneaky and bitchy. Okay? I don't believe that it is correct or right for any journalist, regardless of their batshit opinions, should be investigated by the CIA for doing their job. Free speech is protected by the Constitution, and the free press, is protected under free speech. It is one of the pillars of free speech. And the press, a free press, is a free democracy. That is a through line throughout all of history. You cannot have a democracy without a free press. It is a pillar of democracy. And to be investigating a fucking journalist is absolutely fucking insane. It's an overstep on the government's part, and it is just ridiculous. And I made a video advocating for Don Lemon, so I'm going to advocate for Tucker Carlson, regardless of how much of a trash monster I think he is. So let's see what he has to say before his voice starts to infuriate me to a huge extent. And keep in mind, when he's talking, notice that he doesn't mention the person in charge of all of these administrations, the commander-in-chief.
So the other day I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report to the Department of Justice.
I'm sorry, but I just noticed Jankigar is the top comment in the fucking replies. Immediately defending this man. Oh my god. Is there a cuck chair at TYT Studios that he can sit in? Jesus fucking Christ. Get a fucking chair behind you in that corner. Tucker, it's for Jank. Jesus fuck. Oh my god.
On the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war. They read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that, acting as an agent of a foreign power. And I don't expect this to go anywhere. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent of a foreign power. Unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States, and have never acted against it. Its interests are the only interests I care about because I'm from here and I have...
No, that's not true. That's just like provably false. The best interest of the United States of America is not, nor has it ever been, advocating for a man who tried to incite a violent, illegal insurrection. And not only that, trying to cover for him and incite further dissent by propagating the lies that he started in saying that the election was stolen. That was never in the best interest of the U.S. Lying to the public, knowingly lying to the public, which was proven in court, which is why you were sacked, and why Fox News had to pay $787 million, almost $1 billion, because you were lying to the American public. You took advantage of people who trusted the fact that you were on broadcast TV. Like, eat shit, Tucker. You are, and like I said, this organization, or no, Trump, Trump. You know what the fuck to look for. You know what the name on the wall is, bitch. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Hello?
A lot of kids. So that's not a concern.
He procreated 5 times. Oh my god, the worst people have so many children.
I've also never taken money from anybody. Don't need it, don't want it, and that's provable. And moreover, it's my job to talk to everybody all the time.
I mean, I'll take your word. Well, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to be mighty skeptical of your word, but I'll let it be.
and try and figure out what's happening around the world. That's literally what I do for a living. And I'm not going to stop doing that, nor should I don't think. I'm also an American. I can talk to anybody.
I think you should, not for those reasons though. Like him doing his job. Like I don't think him doing his job by talking to people in Iran, like trying to get what they're saying. Like yeah, that's within his job. Like you, as a journalist, you're supposed to talk to multiple different sources, and especially if you're in war with a different country, you are supposed to have a free press that is able to talk to that country's officials, because otherwise you're only getting the word of your own government, and that leads to a lot of propaganda, a lot of lies, a lot of cover-ups, and that just means that you don't have a free press. And Donald Trump does not want a free press. He's been attacking the press for what, over 10 years. The fucking fake news, it was a slow burn, but he's been attacking the press for years, to the point now where like nobody trusts them on either side of the aisle. Like it's
the world. That's literally what I do for a living. And I'm not going to stop doing that, nor should I don't think. I'm also an American. I can talk to anybody.
But you should stop. Like, you should stop. You should just go retire. I'm sure you got a hefty settlement package from Fox. Like, go retire. What is your, like, what do you really have to offer the world? Do you need to have a show? Do you need to do all this? Like, do you need to be out here? I think you're compromised. Like, you were fired for lying. You're a journalist. You knowingly lied to the public. You propagandized. You propagated lies. You are a liar, provably, in court, to the tune of billions of, like, almost $1 billion. Go retire, dude. Like, you're like, no, I don't understand how this motherfucker has a following and people defending him, especially bitch ass sweaty ham of a man. Cenk Uygur, fuck off, Cenk.
I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think the case is ludicrous, and I doubt it'll even become a case. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons, though, and they're pretty obvious. One is that countries tend to become more authoritarian in wartime. It's just the nature of war. People are dying. The stakes are high. People's emotions have risen to a very high point, to a crescendo. And so there's...
And we have an authoritarian leader named?
There's much less tolerance for any kind of dissent in the homeland. The irony, of course, is the United States fights wars on behalf of freedom, but there's always less of it here in our country during war. So that's a widely recognized phenomenon.
And you never achieve freedom for the countries that you were bombing to achieve that freedom? I would love to know how that works. I would love to know. We're going to carpet bomb you for multiple weeks. Don't you feel so free? Oh, don't you feel so liberated? Are you smoking crack? The fuck?
It's likely to happen now, too. Another point to make that is worth knowing is that the USIC, the intelligence agency, spy on Americans. Now, you probably knew that, and it's been revealed a lot, including by Julian Assange and Ed Snowden, both of whom are threatened with death for revealing it, but everyone knows. But it's probably a little more widespread than most people understand, and it's outrageous. There's no justification for your government, which you own, you're a shareholder in it, you pay for it, to be violating your privacy like this. But it happens all the time. And in fact, one of the reasons that CIA or people...
It's not our government. Who is it at the behest of? Were you investigated by the CIA under a Democratic president? Were you? You keep on dancing around every single fucking point you're trying to make because you're a chicken shit motherfucker who won't call out the person who is actually responsible for what is going on in your life at the moment. Stop being a fucking bitch, Tucker. How about you actually say and who is putting you through this shit? How about you actually call him out by name? His name is Donald J. Trump. The person that you advocated for 3 fucking times to get into the White House. 3 fucking times. Not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times. After he incited a violent insurrection, after he lied for years about it, like after all of the assault cases, all the and claims and allegations, after it was exposed that he's in the Epstein files over a million, like up to 1 million times, like Donald Trump is the problem here. You bitch ass motherfucker. Grow some fucking balls. What is wrong with you? Be a fucking man. Call him the fuck out. What the fuck is this? And what the fuck? Joe Rogan? Like, these are like the right wing, like alpha males, and they can't even call Trump out? The man in a terribly done full face of makeup with dyed hair makes all of his friends wear matching shoes, like constantly commenting on men's looks, the size of men's appendages. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You can't even call out that dementia-ridden fool, worms for brains, gelatinous blob, Jabba the Hutt looking motherfucker. Jabba the Hutt with a toupee. Like, what are we doing? That you can't call him out? That bitch ass that has every single other fucking oligarch and country give him some gold trophy to make him feel good? My God, what like, this is your king, MAGA? Like, even like the non-MAGA right-wing crowd, this is your king? This bitch? Have a little respect for yourself. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. Pull yourself together. Okay, so Israel, in coordination with the US, has escalated the war once again. They have struck a natural gas field or facility in Iran, and I don't know what game they're playing. Actually, that's not true. I do know what game they're playing. Or Israel wants a failed state. They want balkanization in Iran. They want civil war. They want it to be a failed state so they can create their greater Israel colonial project. So this is what they're trying to do. But at the same time, you're shooting yourself in the foot greatly, because at every single turn, every single time that Israel or the US has escalated the war, Iran has gone tit for tat. They keep on, if you escalate it, they'll escalate it right back. So this is just a losing game. Like, what does Robert Pape call it? Is that what his name is? The escalation trap? Because you just, it's like a trap of escalation. You just go back and, like, it's not going anywhere well. And as soon as this happened, as soon as the LNG gas facility was hit, the Iranians were like, well, prepare to get hit. We're gonna hit your oil facilities. We're gonna, like, what did you think was gonna fucking happen? And this has a cascading effect for the entire world, because the oil economy is hugely dependent on the Middle East and the Strait of Hormuz. Like we've talked about before, 20% of the world's oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz. That's an insane amount of the oil economy, the global economy. That's how a large a large portion of the world powers their country. Like, if there's no oil, there's no power. There's multiple different countries who are taking days off right now because they don't want people to have to drive to work, because they want to reserve their oil. Like, Americans are living in a different situation because you have a greater oil reserve, but a lot of countries depend solely on the Middle East. Like, there's no solution there. Like, this is not going well. Jesus fuck. Like, the ripple effects of this war are so massive. Like, you don't even know how bad they're going to be yet. Like, it's absolutely fucking insane. And we're seeing new figures out that, like, this could go on another 6 months at least. And I say it's probably going to go on for a couple more years. Like, I don't see an end to this. Where is the off ramp? Every time an off ramp is presented, it gets bombed. Like, to be hyperbolic, but like, kind of literal. Like, Jesus, fuck. So Israel strikes Iran natural gas facility in coordination with the U.S. The Israeli Air Force struck a natural gas processing facility in southwestern Iran, two senior Israeli officials said. The Israeli officials said the strike was coordinated with and approved by the Trump administration. So if you're wondering why, like, gas prices keep going up, it's because Trump and Israel, or Bibi Netanyahu, keep on escalating this war. Every time there's a dip in the prices of oil, they escalate it even more. They are just like playing with people's lives and playing with people's wallets like it's nothing. State media reported that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps had warned that several energy facilities in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar should be evacuated due to potential attacks. Like, immediately. They were like, "Well, watch out! We're gonna hit you back." Like, why? They're not just gonna sit back and take it. They keep on telling you, "We're not just gonna sit back and take it. We can keep on fucking going," and they keep on escalating it. And it's Donald fucking Trump. The one fucking thing he cares about is like the stock market and oil prices and all this fucking shit. Like, you are shooting yourself in the fucking foot. Qatar says Iran attacks caused significant damage at Ras Laffan gas facility. Qatar declares the Iranian embassy's military and security attaches as persona non grata after Ras Laffan attack. So they said they give them 24 hours to get out of the country. All the Iranian diplomats in the country said, "Get out, bye." Like, but they said they warned you. We're going to hit your energy facilities if you hit ours, and it's the only, like, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, the UAE, are literally just collateral damage to the US and Israel. They don't, at this point, although their actions indicate they don't give a fuck whether or not Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia are hit, because they keep on getting bombed. They keep on getting struck. And Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu keep escalating the war. At this point, like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, do you really think these people are going to run back into your arms when all this is over? No, they're not going to. They're going to find somebody else to warm up under. And it's probably going to be Xi Jinping. Again, do nothing, win. Like, Qatar has said Iranian missile attacks on the Ras Laffan industrial city, the country's main gas facility, have caused significant damage. Great. And like, it's not like you can just like easily repair these plants. It takes a lot of fucking time. Like, it's a big fucking deal. And it will disrupt the markets for a while. Like, it's almost as though we had this war in Iraq to like indicate to us how this would probably go. So no casualties have been reported from the gas facility that was attacked in Qatar, which is a good thing. The Ras Laffan complex, located 80 kilometers, 50 miles northeast of Doha, is the world's largest LNG production facility and produces about 20% of the global liquefied natural gas supply, playing a major role in balancing both Asian and European markets' demand for the fuel. That's another thing. A lot of the countries in Europe and around and in Asia were relying on Russian oil prior to the Ukraine war, and all the sanctions were in place. So they started to heavily rely on the Middle East. And now they can't rely on the Middle East anymore because Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu started a fucking illegal and offensive war for no fucking reason. This is what Qatar's wealth is built on. Al Jazeera's Victoria Gottenby said, we've also had alerts here in Doha and the threat level has been raised. Yeah, because Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu are pledging all these countries to be attacked. Like, they are literal collateral damage. The United States homeland is not under threat. United States soil has not been attacked. All of the countries where the embassies are, all your allies in the region are all getting fucked up. And they did not ask for this. There was reporting that Saudi Arabia was pulling for the war before it happened, but then we've seen reporting now that that was a lie, and it's actually just MBS going against his government and like everybody else, and he was pushing for the war, but like nobody else was. Like, it's absolutely fucking insane. Could you imagine being like a Qatari or a Saudi or like an Emirati right now, and if you had the United States, your ally, who you spend a lot of money on, is supposed to protect you when things like this happen, and they left you out to dry, to be a sitting duck, actually pledged for you to be bombed. Bolin told you you're getting bombed. It's absolutely fucking insane. Look, and you think they're just going to, like I said, you think they're going to run back into your arms. You're smoking crack. So why attacks on gas fields like South Pars are a major escalation? The strike was the first time a fossil fuel energy production facility has been hit, but why is it significant and who does it affect? On Tuesday, a successful Iranian drone attack resulted in operations at the Shah gas field in Abu Dhabi being suspended. The site can produce 1.28 billion standard cubic feet of gas a day and supplies about 20% of the UAE's gas supply and 5% of the world's granulated sulfur used in phosphate fertilizers. So, like, the farmers are SOL too. Like, like I said, the ripple effects, massive. The South Pars gas field, which it shares with Qatar across the Gulf, was struck. The field is the largest in the world and is the biggest source of domestic energy in Iran. Fucking idiots. And that's what they struck today. Which sometimes struggles to produce enough electricity. Jesus Christ. They're already struggling enough to produce enough fucking electricity, and then you hit their largest source of domestic energy. Okay. The strikes are significant because they signal a potential deepening of the war with longer-term consequences for the global economy. While a cessation of hostilities could result in a suspended gas and oil shipments returning within months, experts assess that any significant damage to production itself could have a years-long impact. So that's what I was saying about earlier. Like, just like stopping, like halting, just halting the markets. It would take a while to get back into production and like everything to get back to normal. But if there's actual real damage, it could take years for these facilities to get back online producing the right amount of product that they need to. And that is a big deal because after the war, all of these reserves are going to be depleted as fuck. And if you are unable to refill your reserves, you're shit out of luck. Like, if anything fucking happens. So, it's just so fucking, like, so stupid. Can't this just be repaired? No. One lesson from the aftermath of the 2003 invasion of Iraq was that it took much longer than expected to repair damaged energy production infrastructure. Much longer than expected. The Bush administration had promised that reconstruction would be funded by oil revenues. But oil revenues? Are you going to nationalize the oil industry? Then no, that's not how it works, bitch. You were invaded a country for oil barons that have no standing on the regular American public or anything to do with fucking Iraq. The fuck are you talking about? But even though contractors were able to access Iraqi plants and $2 billion was spent on oil projects, production took more than 2 years to return to pre-war levels. Attempts to repair Ukrainian power infrastructure hit by Russia has highlighted issues around equipment log jams. So, like, that's another thing is we have had 4 years of modern warfare to study. And they went into this war, this illegal and offensive war that they started hugely unprepared, humongously unprepared, even though they have watched Ukraine successfully hold off Russia for a while. With, of course, they wouldn't have been able to do it without the sanctions on Russia and then the aid to Ukraine. But regardless, we've had 4 years of that situation to study and to see how Ukraine has been able to damage things even with their cheap little equipment and like with ingenuity. So I don't know why the fuck the American military was so blatantly unprepared for this illegal and offensive war that they fucking started. I just don't understand it. You had 4 years of modern warfare to study. 4 years. What? This is just so fucking stupid. Like, my God. I don't even know. This is... Get ready to be paying like $5 a gallon, $8 a gallon at the pump. Because, like, this is only going to escalate more and more. Price was like the price of Jesus Christ. The price of a barrel of oil shot up to like over 110 today. So just prepare for higher prices. This is what's going to happen. And for what? For what? For what? I would love to know. Any other reason aside from Benjamin Netanyahu's wet dream of destroying Iran? What are we doing this for? I'll wait. Right. Okay, so Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, who was for years anti-war with Iran, anti-war of aggression, just full stop, she was anti-war. Now she has been completely and utterly silent ever since this war in Iran begun. And yesterday we did a video on one of her allies, one of the guys who worked for her or under her, the director of the counterterrorism unit. He resigned and blamed this entire war on Israel. He obfuscated the truth and like shifted the blame completely to Israel, which there is blame on Israel in this war, but the person who got America into this war, his name is Donald J. Trump. It wasn't Israel. So I take umbrage with his resignation, like how he worded everything and how he shifted all the blame to Israel while they are only 50% of this war. But now that happened like yesterday. And she was being questioned today. And she was asked about it. And it was just a fucking shit show. President Trump has taken on many ancillary roles in Washington, chairman of the Kennedy Center, the de facto chief architect of the city's landmark properties, and now the nation's chief intelligence analyst. So this woman, this joke of a person, Tulsi Gabbard, she actually had the nerve in a Senate hearing to say that the role of like national intelligence and threats to the homeland is the role of the president. What? You just described your entire job. That's your job description. What are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean? President Trump is so her trusted aides that the country so yeah, this is all coming after like I said, one of her allies and one in the Trump administration resigned yesterday. And so they asked her, like, one of your trusted aides said that the country posed no imminent threat. Like, what was this about? And she said only the president can decide what is an imminent threat. In other words, she was turning one of the key roles of the intelligence community's 80,000 employees to make non-political judgments about threats to the American security over to Mr. Trump. The 79-year-old demented felon in diapers. Him. What? It was Senator John Ossoff, a Democrat of Georgia, who pressed Miss Gabbard the hardest on whether there was an imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime. Yes or no, he demanded. Miss Gabbard was ready with an answer. It is not a responsibility of the intelligence community, the national intelligence community. It is not their responsibility to determine what is or is not an imminent threat. Bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? That is exactly your job. That is, you just described the entire role of the intelligence community. What do you think the intelligence community is? They're up there, Mensa? Like, what? No, this is, what? The senator speaking over Ms. Gabbard rejected the answer. It is precisely your responsibility to determine what constitutes a threat to the United States. It is literally like your entire job. You're the director of national intelligence. In fact, while the president has broad authority to interpret intelligence any way he deems proper, Mr. Ossoff was right. Of course he fucking was. What the fuck are you talking about? That's your job. How do you not, like, all these people act like they don't know their jobs. That is your job description. The fuck? So here it is. Like,
was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, yes or no?
Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
False. This is the worldwide threats hearing where you present to Congress national intelligence, timely, objective, and independent of political considerations. You've stated today that the intelligence community's assessment is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated and that, quote, there had been no efforts since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability. Was it the intelligence community's assessment that nevertheless, despite this obliteration, there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime? Yes or no?
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
Okay.
That is up to the president based on a volume of information that he receives.
It is precisely your responsibility to determine what constitutes a threat to the United States. This is the worldwide threats hearing where, as you noted in your opening testimony, quote, you represent the IC's assessment of threats. You are here to represent the IC's assessment of threats. That's a quote from your own opening statement. And so my question is, as you're here to present the IC's assessment of threats, was it the assessment of the intelligence community that, as the White House claimed on March 1st, there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime? Yes or no?
Once again, Senator, the intelligence community has provided the inputs that make up this annual threat assessment.
You won't answer the
It is the
question.
nature of the imminent threat that the president has to make that determination based on a collection and volume
You're here
of
to be
information and
timely.
intelligence that he is provided with.
You're here to be timely, objective, and independent of political considerations.
Exactly what I'm doing.
What kind of insanity is this bullshit? What the fuck? Hello? Earth to Tulsi. What are you talking about? I'm so fucking... Bitch, do you think I'm dumb? You think it is one single person's sole responsibility to decide what is a threat, even though you have a staff of 80,000 underneath you? All of those people who spent their lives in these careers, they don't matter. The reality TV host, him, the 6 times bankrupt, convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, bitch ass with dementia. Him, he gets to decide. He's the sole person in the... Whatever happened to co-equals but separate branches of government? Whatever happened to, like... What are you talking about, Tulsi? Does that mean that you are just a place, you are just the face of the National Intelligence Committee? Like, what is your role then? What do you do? Election fraud? Is that your job? Is that your job description now, Tulsi? Dyeing a villain streak in your hair? Is that what it is? Like, I'm struggling to understand. Hiding in the corner because you can't sign up for this illegal and offensive war that you warned against for years? I'm surprised you had the nerve to show up to this fucking hearing today. Are you fucking kidding me? Did you see what your friend did? Your little friend yesterday? That resignation letter? That is what having a backbone looks like. And I can't believe I'm praising the Proud Boy neo-Nazi fuck that should have never have been in the fucking government to begin with. The hell? Anyways, but he has more of a backbone, more conviction, is more principled than you, Tulsi? Wow. You are a chicken shit individual. That's crazy. And then you have the nerve of sitting here like, it's the president. It's the president's job. The fuck it is. The fuck it is. You know exactly what the fuck your role is. You know that it's not his job to do so. Like, what are we talking about? Is this a dictatorship where the executive branch just has all of the power in the fucking government? You are the director of national intelligence. You should be able to answer a simple question on whether or not this country that you are currently at war with posed an imminent threat prior to the war starting. You should be able to answer that like this. It's his job? Are you on crack? Are you? Get to the clinic. Go to rehab. Figure yourself out. Resign. Resign yesterday. You have no conviction. You have no principles. You have no morals at all. You literally warned against this action. You talked about being anti-war for years. There is clips of you going years and years back talking shit on military intervention and illegal and aggressive wars in the Middle East. You talked about how you served in Iraq as a medic. Like, you know for a fact this is wrong, and you are signing up for it anyways. For what? Power or influence? all the power you have, you just handed over to a demented felon. What the fuck? So what is the point? What is the point? Do you want to go down in the history books as like one of the Nazis? Like, I don't understand. What is this? Jesus fuck. People like this fucking disgust. If you have no fucking conviction, none. At least there's some disgusting, terrible people on the right that like actually they have conviction in their disgustingness. Good for them on that front. They're disgusting people with disgusting opinions. But like, I can respect that a little more than I can respect people who are political prostitutes, like J.D. Vance, who will call Trump America's Hitler and then become his vice president. That infuriates me. Like, what? Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, fuck Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, so we did a video the other day on Trump's director of the National Center for Counterterrorism, or National Counterterrorism Center, NCTC, National Counterterrorism Center. He resigned in a fashion that is pretty much unprecedented in American history. No high-ranking cabinet official with this like high-level security clearance has ever left in this way of showing dissent before the war. Like, there has been internal dissidents, but nobody has ever banged the drum and resigned in this fashion. It's unprecedented. And now he went on Tucker Carlson, which I feel like, part of me is like, was this coordinated? How did he get to rural Maine in 24 hours? I guess he got on a red eye. Like, okay. I don't know. It just confuses me. Like, immediately he was on Tucker, like, the next day. Tucker had him, like, on speed dial. Okay. But he went on Tucker Carlson, and it's a 2-hour fucking interview, so I'm not going to fucking sit through all of it. I'm not going to make you suffer through all of it. But I did pull up some timestamps because he did say a lot of interesting things, and it is important to remember this dude is like a January 6th stop the steal type of guy. He has been associated with the Proud Boys. He is like a fucking weirdo. Like, a broken clock is right twice a day, and this motherfucker, he's right on this instance, but I don't trust him. Like, I just don't trust him at all. And like, he's like a conspiracy theorist. Like, I don't. First of all, I don't even know how the fuck he got the role that he did. I mean, obviously it's Trump administration; they're all fucking weirdos. But he is not a completely trustable source. I mean, anybody who had anything to do with this regime is not to be trusted. You cannot trust any of them. But specifically this guy, I just like take everything he says with a grain of salt. And I will say, it is brave what he is doing, and it is a heroic feat, but he is not a hero. This man is not a hero. He is, like I said, he is not a good person, and a broken clock is right twice a day. I'll keep on fucking saying it because it holds true. So he gets into it with Tucker about a few things. This first timestamp that I have is like him talking about the war in Iran, and that was the biggest issue in his letter, is that he thought the war in Iran was all Israel's fault. He completely shifted the blame to Israel, instead of Trump, who is to blame for putting the country in war, like starting a war with an illegal and offensive war with a country that posed no imminent threat based on all of your intelligence. And this man, he worked like in the ODNI, like the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. He had like very, very high security clearance, like some of the highest. So he knows, he had access to a lot of information. So it's just like you have to take it with a grain of salt, but you also have to like take into effect that this man, he had a very high security clearance. He was the director of the National Center for, or not the National Counterterrorism Center. He was a big deal in the government. Like it was a huge deal that he went out banging the drum, blowing the whistle like he did. But now he's even going further and going on Tucker and saying all this shit. And I don't know. There's reasons to not believe him, and there's a ton of reasons to believe him. Like, and we know he's like telling the truth on Iran. This is all for Israel, but regardless of it, whether it's for Israel or not, it's still Donald Trump who made that choice. You can't really shift the blame. And even Tucker tries to say some shit, like he like talks about the leadership of the country or something. Like, you just say the name Tucker. His name is Trump, Donald J. Trump, Trump. It's one syllable, 5 letters. It's not hard.
Yep, a lot of it, I think. And you supported the president's policy up until fairly recently.
Right.
And you've said that a lot in public. In fact, you went to work for him. He hired you.
Yeah.
Right. But here's from what I can tell, is the central question: imminent threat. Now, the president has said many times to many people, including the public, Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he must have said that to you. You don't have to say it, but he said it to everybody. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. They can't have a nuke. Whenever asked, we say, let's just start here. They can't have a nuke. Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Everyone agreed with that conceptually. Was Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon?
No, they weren't, 3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. I mean, the Iranians have had a religious ruling, a fatwa, against actually developing a nuclear weapon since 2004. That's been in place since 2004. That's available in the public sphere. But then also we had no intelligence to indicate that fatwa was being disobeyed or it was on the cusp of being lifted. The Iranian strategy, it's actually pretty pragmatic. The Iranians are obviously aware of what's taking place in their region, and their strategy was to not completely abandon their nuclear program, because they saw what happened to Muammar Gaddafi in Libya when he said, hey, I've got no more nukes. I'll do what you say. I'll give up my nukes.
And we gave him the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah, we regime changed him, and he was executed by his own people in the most horrific way.
Oh, sodomized by a bayonet. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the lesson, I think, that the entire region took from that when Hillary Clinton.
Unfortunately, that is what the neocon, neoliberal warmongers, that's the lesson that they showed everyone in the region. And then conversely, the Iranians also knew.
Thanks, Hillary.
That if they came out and said, okay, we've got a nuke, whether they were bluffing or not, Saddam Hussein, Iraq right next door. So they kind of had
this. And he hung, I think.
He was hung by his own people, after a bloody, war that's still essentially going on.
Isn't that on TV too? Like, I feel like I saw that in the news. What's it? No, I think they cut away, but like, I feel like it was like, or was that another guy? I don't remember. I remember somebody's hanging being almost televised.
Side of Iraq. So the Iranians' position.
I mean, I also saw Gaddafi get fucking what he said in the street, which was fucking horrific. I was 14 when that fucking happened. Like, this has been my whole life. I'll let him finish.
Viewed from the lens of the region was actually fairly pragmatic. They were preventing, themselves from developing a bomb, but they still wanted the ability. They wanted the ability to enrich. They wanted the ability to have some components so that they weren't completely stripped of it. And when we always assessed that they were either several months or a year, 2 years away from actually being able to develop a nuclear weapon. And that's not because the Iranians are stupid people. I think we can tell right now that the Iranians are anything but stupid. They had the ability, I think, that the brain power to actually develop one, or they could have simply traded a ton of oil with Pakistan or with someone else to actually get a nuclear weapon. They were not doing that. We had no intelligence to indicate that they were.
Then why was...
So, I've said all that. Like, I mean, we've all, like, most, like, leftists and people with their heads screwed on tight, even, like, the more, like, anti-Trump conservative crowd, everybody's been saying this. We all know this to be true, but it is important that this is the first time an official from the Trump administration has said anything to this effect. And obviously he's not an official of the Trump administration anymore, but he was until 2 days ago. So and at the time of this interview, it had only been like less than 24 hours since he quit. So it holds a lot of fucking water that he's fucking saying this shit. And obviously we knew all of this. I was saying this from the start. Iran, they don't want a nuclear weapon. They say it's honest. It goes against Islam. Like, I was saying it from the start. Like, we knew that they had no intent of building a nuclear weapon. Yes, they wanted to enrich it because they had nuclear power plants and other things, and they wanted the ability, but we knew everything that he just said. It's just that everybody in the regime, everybody in the administration has been peddling all of this misinformation and lies to the opposite. So it's very important that he's saying this, even though we all know this is the truth. It's just they are not coming out and saying this. And like I said, this is an unprecedented move. There was no Joe Kent in Iraq. There was no Joe Kent in Vietnam. If there was, you would know their names. You don't, because there wasn't one. There were people who tried to dissent internally in those wars, but they did not go to the public. They did not resign. This is unprecedented. And it's very important that he's coming out and saying these things, even though we all know them already. Like, I could have told you this before the war started, but...
Was the president, was he told that they were on the brink of it? Why, at the beginning of every conversation about Iran, would the president say, I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? Why was that the central question when, and you would know since you were the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, why would he say that if there was no intelligence or evidence that they were actually developing a nuke?
So, I mean, a couple things. This is what I talk about in the letter about this ecosystem of information that's laundered through a lot of prominent neoconservative types that are very sympathetic to the Israeli cause, and then also Israeli government officials who give us things in semi-official channels. What they did was they created basically a shifting red line or a new red line. So if the president's red line was Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, we've actually got a lot of trade space in there for a deal to be made, because of what I just described with the Iranian policy. Essentially, the Iranians saying, okay, well, we don't want a nuclear weapon. Well, that means we basically are at a point where we can start negotiating and we can come up with a deal. And the president is a fantastic deal maker. So if your goal is to move us away from any kind of deal and your goal is to move us into a conflict, you have to shift.
If he was a fantastic deal maker, why didn't he make one? Like, this dipshit. Like, God. You can see, there's such a big cognitive dissonance in these people because they are in a cult. They don't understand. They can't. Their logic and reasoning, their morals, their principles are screaming at them. No, this is wrong, but they cannot place the blame on who is actually at fault here because it's their cult leader. He can't blame Trump. Trump is the one who holds the cards. You said it in your fucking resignation letter. It was the last sentence. You hold the cards. Wake up. These people need to deprogram something, watch some cult documentaries, figure your shit out, go to therapy, something, because you need to, it's him. He's the issue here. He is the commander-in-chief of the military. Just because Israel is going to do something doesn't mean that they control the government. He's beholden to them for some reason, sure, but that's his choice. They don't have some magic wand where they're hypnotizing people. And I'll give it to you that, yes, he's 79, he's demented, and it's probably easy to walk that duck off a fucking cliff. But this motherfucker, like I said, he's 79 years old. He's not a child. If he is the most powerful person on earth, the president, then he needs to act like it. Every single president for the past 40 years has told Benjamin Netanyahu to go kick rocks. Go fuck yourself. We're not going to war with Iran. They don't have nuclear weapons. Obama made a fucking deal with the Iranians. He had a nuclear deal. Trump tore it up. We would not be here if Donald Trump didn't tear up the nuclear deal that Obama made just because he hates Obama. Like, you need to actually deprogram. There's Jesus fucking Christ.
That red line. And that's where a lot of this, I would say, what became a de facto U.S. policy of Iran can have no nuclear enrichment. It was laundered through a lot of the different talking heads, Mark Levin, Mark Dubowitz. You've got the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, you name it. Washington, D.C. has plenty of pro-Israeli lobbyists who will come and say those things, who will publish think pieces on it, who will go on the media, who will run, op-eds in the Wall Street Journal to talk about this.
You didn't list a single person. You didn't not one of those people works for the regime, is part of the military, works for the Pentagon, works for the ODNI. Like, what are we? All of those people are talking heads on TV. Mark Levin has an influence over the president? What? What? 25th Amendment, this motherfucker. What the hell is going on? Hello? You impeached Bill Clinton for a fucking blowjob.
That's why they can't have any enrichment whatsoever. And then we have a high degree of engagement with Israeli government officials.
They agreed to no enrichment. The Iranians agreed to no enrichment. And they got bombed a few hours later.
Who will come in and say, well, they're enriching and they could enrich or they could enrich more, and that will get them closer to a nuclear weapon. So then enrichment basically became the new U.S. policy. And the only official I've heard, and folks are welcome to look for this, that said this in the first Trump administration was Mike Pompeo. He said it. The president didn't say it. The president has been very consistent. He said they can't have a nuclear weapon. But again, like I said, that puts us at a place where we actually could have negotiations. And only President Trump, I think, could successfully have negotiations with Iran because he actually punched them in the face. And the Iranians had been walking all over us.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, you dumb fuck? His name was Barack Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. That motherfucker. Drone Obama. I hate him. That war criminal, he had a great fucking nuclear deal with Iran. What the fuck are you talking about? He negotiated just fine. Donald Trump went to war twice with this country in the past 12 months. Less than the past 8. What are you talking about? You fucktard. What? This is not reality. What? Oh my God.
They had been killing our soldiers. All of that is true. I have no sympathy whatsoever for the Iranians, what their proxies.
When are they killing them? When? Name one time. Cite your sources. And do not say 1980.
We're doing. President Trump level set that when he killed Qasem Soleimani and he killed Abu Mahdi Mohandas. The folks who wanted to push an actual regime change war in Iran knew this, and they knew there was a potential to get a deal, or there was a potential for President Trump just to continue the policy of maximum pressure sanctions, and if you come after us, we will hit you hard. And that got the protesters out on the street in Iran, and that's actually what the regime feared the most. I don't think the Ayatollah feared dying, not because he, is some crazy lunatic. I'm sure some degree of the Shia martyrdom culture played a factor in that. However, I think he knew that if he was killed, the regime would survive because the people would rally around the regime.
Well, there's been a lot of noise in the news lately, but none of it matters.
All right. There was a whole lot of bullshit mixed in with a whole lot of truth. This is the problem with these right wingers who have some correct takes. They will sprinkle in hard, like cold hard truths with some crazy bullshit, conspiracist, wild shit. Like I don't even know how to define it. Like Candace Owens is very, very good at this. She'll be on a roll saying like really, really good, really good, really good, really good. And then like the next, it'll be like two to three comments. And it's really, really good. You're like, wow, okay. She actually gets it. She gets it. She gets it. And then she'll say something crazy like Harvey Weinstein was innocent. And it was all a fucking like psyop on everybody. And he was crucified for no reason. And you're like, how did we get here? It's crazy okay. Anyways, I have another fucking, oh my God. Like, they infuriate me so much. They need to go to cult deprogramming school or something. We need re-education camps or something. I don't know. I'm gonna fucking go to the Che Guevara's grave and resurrect him with a fucking voodoo spell or something. I don't even fucking know.
Put all of those together. Because again, without Israel's influence, would all of this have happened? Would the Iraq War have happened? Maybe, but they heavily lobbied for it. I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu, you can pull up tapes on YouTube. Like the guy was lobbying heavily back in 2002 for us to do regime change in Iraq. And he has stayed in power ever since. Ariel Sharon, who initially was the PM.
That is true. That's true. You can see there's videos of him at the UN talking about yellow cake and shit. Like he was heavily part of the propaganda to invade Iraq. He salivated at that too because he's a bloodthirsty war hawk, genocidal maniac. So it just goes to show how terrible of a person that demon is. It really isn't really even a person.
In the lead up to the Iraq War, initially was against it because he wanted us to focus on Iran, but then towards the end he got on board as well. But the Likud party that's in power and has been driving Israeli politics now for most of my adult life, they were heavily in favor of the regime change war in Iraq, which again led to Shia domination, led to the rise of ISIS, led to the rise of Al-Qaeda, and then heavily fueled the Syrian civil war. So again, this country, Israel, who they can be a good partner in some regards. I'm not anti-Israeli. I've worked with the Israelis. Again, very competent intelligence service, very wonderful people, but they have different objectives than we do. So to put them in the driver's seat of our foreign policy and to let them dictate.
Concept of Israelis being wonderful people. Huh. I disagree. I do. Any Israeli worth a damn left. They're all gone. They're gone. They left because they looked around. They're like, wow, these bitches are fucking crazy, and they left. And now it's like 85% of the country is just a bunch of demons because they love the fucking apartheid. They love to see Arabs die. They love to see Palestinians get slaughtered. They enjoy seeing it. We did one of the Iran war updates that we did on this channel. We looked at videos of people going down to the bomb bunkers in Tel Aviv, and they were literally like laughing and smiling and like having a good time. They just did not care. Like they have been raised in this vicious apartheid, and they've been so propagandized and so brainwashed to the point where like they're almost to the point of no return. And like I said, every Israeli worth a damn left. There's quite a few Israelis that I have interact with like parasocially and stuff, and like where I follow or I have listened to their speeches, blah blah blah, and they're great people, but they left. They left long ago. They left years ago. It's most of the people left are just bad. Like, it's just the truth of the matter.
Dictate our foreign policy is a disservice to the American people.
Well, I think, and I think you're understating the effect. A disservice suggests like an inconvenience.
It's dangerous. Yeah.
Now we're looking at bankruptcy and death and collapse of the dollar and like lots. And I'm not blaming Israel. By the way, I'm not blaming Israel for any of it. I'm blaming supine American leadership that takes this.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Supine American leadership. So saying American leadership is just taking it on their backs. Who? Tucker? Who? Name them. Because like, I would like to know, bitch. Do I need to come down to Maine and smack it into your fucking head? You know the name. You propagandized for him 3 times. You like stood behind him and told your viewership to go and vote for him 3 times. You got fired for lying for him. His name was Donald J. Trump. Say it, Tucker.
Understand it at all. And that kind of leads to the most uncomfortable question of all, and I don't know if you can answer it. I don't think I can answer it. But since all of these dynamics are very well known to everyone in Washington, everyone who pretends this is not real, the Tom Cottons of the world, Lindsey Grahams or whatever, the liars, everybody knows. Everybody knows, pro-Israel people know, anti-Israel people know that what you're saying is true. I don't think there's any debate about any of it. So since it was clear that we were being pushed by the Netanyahu government into this war, that they were choosing the timing, they chose the timing, right? I mean,
yeah, I'll take Marco Rubio's word for it.
I'll take Marco Rubio's word for it. Was it ever discussed, the option that you mentioned at the beginning, like, how about no?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so then you have to ask, I'm just following the logic train here, what kind of pressure does it require to get a president who campaigned against exactly this thing for 10 years to do exactly this thing? What does it take to do that?
I wish I knew definitively. I think there's 2 potentials, there's 2 schools of thought. I mean, one is the media echo chamber.
This is where he starts going off the wall because it's like I said, grain of salt, but also he was the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. Okay? He worked in the office of the Director of National Intelligence, the ODNI, the highest security clearance in America. Okay? So what he says here, you have to hold, like, be skeptical, but also, like, he had the highest security clearance in America. There has to be some weight behind his words, So here's what he has to say.
Donors, the way the Israelis come in and kind of launder the information, like I described previously, and then the other option is much darker. I mean, we still don't know what happened in Butler. We don't know what happened with Charlie Kirk. And by no means am I saying like, the Israelis did this or any of that, but I'm saying there's a lot of unanswered questions there. And there is enough data to at least say that there's a good chance that
So unprompted, he just brought up Charlie Kirk and Butler, I'm pretty sure. Definitely Charlie Kirk was unprompted. So what he's hinting at, he's about to go into, is that there's a possibility that Charlie Kirk was murdered by Israel, maybe, and then because of his anti-war stance, and he had the president's ear, and he was also connecting that to the Butler, Pennsylvania shooting, where the Trump assassination, the fight shit, where he got like his ears pierced. That one he's linking. We don't know much about it, and these are true things. And I felt like, honestly, I'll be honest with you. I feel, or have always felt, like there is a high possibility. Like 80% of my being has always felt like that Butler, Pennsylvania shooting was staged. It was just way too fucking convenient. like everything about it. Like he was barely fucking injured. Like it was it helped him, and it, like they propagandized around it. They tried to like rally around it, and like the fight photo, like everything. The photographers were right there to take the photos, and like the security didn't. I don't know, all the security that the president of the United States has these days, and somebody almost assassinated him. I don't know. It was hard to. I don't know. It was kind of hard to believe. And plus, how like hush hush they were after it, not releasing any of like the doctor's files or anything about it. Like we should know a lot more about the commander in chief of the country's assassination attempt. Like that, it should be public. Not like what it's not, and they've been hush hush, and they rarely fucking talk about it these days. So it's they even like right after, like even like a couple months after, like it was like they stopped talking about it. It was like mum's the word. We're not talking about that anymore. So I don't know. And then the Charlie Kirk thing, I don't. I mean, I was like paying attention to what Candace was saying a lot of the time, and like a lot of it was just like, okay, like you're going off the rails, Candace. Like you're feeling every single thread that you can, and even some that aren't there. You need to like focus. You were just trying to find stuff to talk about because it was like the Egyptian planes and the French legionnaires, blah blah blah, blah, tying it to the fucking the Macrons. She's crazy, but Benjamin Netanyahu coming out and doing a fucking press tour before Charlie Kirk's body was cold, talking about how, oh no, I did not kill Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk loved Israel. You must praise Israel. Like that was fucking weird. And if he had anything to do with it, that's exactly what I think he would do. So that was fucking weird. Eric Kirk is a fucking weirdo. Like it's all weird. And even like right when it happened, when I first got the notification that Charlie Kirk was shot, it literally said that Charlie Kirk was shot at Utah University. It did not say it was like a deadly shot or shot in the neck or blah blah blah. It just said he was shot. So when I first clicked on the notification and I went to go look, I thought he was like shot in like the arm or like the shoulder, maybe like the stomach. Whatever. I thought it would like somebody came up to like one of his turning point stages and like tried to shoot whatever, and like maybe he got to like duck and dive or whatever. I did not assume that it was going to be a sniper rifle murder from 200 yards away. Like that what happened was insane. And then I go on Twitter to see what's going on, what people are saying, and you see the fucking video of that motherfucker's neck getting deleted, and you're like, what is going on? When I first got the notification, I was like, are they doing this to get like a Reichstag fire thing? Like, do you think that like, not do you think, but like I was machinating on it all day, and I was like, well, did they do this to get some type of Reichstag fire type event? And they tried to make it into one. And that's part of what made me lean into that thought, because they really did try to like turn it into a Reichstag event, and it didn't work. And I just kind of waved off the whole Israel aspect because I didn't really understand what they would truly get out of it. But this is the, like I said, this motherfucker's conspiracy theorist, January 6er, associated with the Proud Boys and even some other white nationalist group that I didn't even know the name of, like some patriots, some bullshit, I don't know, bunch of incels. Anyways. But he was also, I'll say it again, he was the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, Office of the Director of National Intelligence, ODNI, highest security clearance in America. Okay? So his words have weight. Like, you have to take them with a grain of salt, but they also have weight. Like, it's a very fine line that we have to walk with trusting this motherfucker. Because you can't really. But we have to at least take into account what he has to say.
President Trump feels like he is under threat. We're not allowed to ask, basically, was there any linkage between what took place with Asif Merchant, who was recruited by the Iranians to come to America to recruit proxies to kill President Trump. The FBI put a confidential human source at him. All this is public now. This is all out there in the open. And he's arrested, and then 2 days later, a sniper takes a shot at President Trump. We think Merchant and we know the CHS was talking about the human source that the FBI put at Merchant. They were talking about, hey, we could kill the president potentially with a sniper rifle. But then they arrest him. 2 days later, Butler happens. And Crooks, according to the official narrative anyways, is an enigma. We don't know anything about him. We can't get into his devices. If we did get into his devices, maybe there's nothing there. No more questions are allowed to be asked about Tom.
There's not a single device on this planet that you can't get into if you have it. Like, you're the American government. You have the highest tech on the planet. There's no device. Like, also, what kind of encrypted fucking spyware would he have to have that the American government couldn't get into it? The FBI. The Patriot Act gets pulled out when the president, his life is threatened. They could literally tear this motherfucker's life apart. This is just not the truth. It just does not add up.
Thomas Crooks. The DHS IG is currently being blocked from investigating Butler as well. That's out in the media. That's all well known. Your investigative journalists found that Crooks did indeed have an online persona,
Quite an
online
extensive
footprint,
one.
and he was talking
Yes.
to people. So
Yes.
it's like, why aren't we investigating this? You know, I mean, if
An attempted murder of a presidential
attempted
candidate?
murder of a presidential candidate, and then there's another assassination attempt. There's been multiple public breaches of President Trump's security over the last year. And then, Charlie Kirk is killed publicly in a very horrific way, and we're not really even allowed to look into that at all. And Charlie Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors, and he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran. He was in the Oval Office in the lead up to the 12-day war. I wasn't particularly close with Charlie. He was very gracious to me when I was running for Congress, very, very supportive. So we knew each other. And the last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth was in June in the West Wing, in the stairway. And I said hi to him, and he looked me in the eye, and he said very loudly, and you've been in the West Wing, it's small, it's a tight space. And he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran, very loudly.
He was single-minded.
And he walked off, and he went, I believe, into the Oval. So when one of President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally advocating for us to not go to war with Iran and for us to rethink at least our relationship with the Israelis, and then he's suddenly publicly assassinated, and we're not allowed to ask any questions about that, it's a data point. It's a data point that we need to look into.
What do you mean when you say we're not allowed to ask any questions about that?
We've been told that this individual, Robinson, is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. And the FBI...
I will say, I wasn't full... I feel like... I don't know. With Charlie Kirk, and Tyler Robinson, what I will say is that the official story that the FBI has put out and what we have from them does not make sense. It does not add up. There's some bullshit in that shit. But that does not mean that it was Israel, or I don't know, but there is a reason for, like, the best conspiracy theories have a kernel of truth to them, and that's why they hit so hard. But I just don't know. I just don't I don't know. It's not like he was going to be extremely like anti-Israel. I don't believe that. Like, I don't know.
That because they wanted to have turn everything over to the Utah state authorities. Everything's going to trial. It's very, very sensitive. But there was still a lot for us to look into that I can't really.
No. The FBI. Wait. What did he just say? Go back. I'm sorry.
That because they wanted to have turn everything over to the Utah state authorities. Everything's going to trial. It's very, very sensitive.
No, the federal. It's being federally prosecuted with the FBI took over the case. That's not.
But there was still a lot for us to look into that I can't really get into. But there was still linkage for us to investigate that we needed to run down. And I'm not making any conclusions. I'm not saying
no, I don't think you are.
Because of this happened. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's unanswered questions. We know the pressure because of the text messages that have been made public that Charlie was under a lot of pressure from a lot of pro-Israel donors. And again, we know Charlie was advocating to President Trump against this war with Iran. And we knew at the end of the 12-day war, at the end of Midnight Hammer, that the Israelis were going to come back and ask us to go back to war again.
Right.
So we have a lot of data points between Butler, the assassination attempts against President Trump, the breaches of his security, what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Can I just ask you to pause on the Charlie Kirk because it upsets me to hear what you're saying, to be reminded that he was murdered, but also to hear you confirm what was reported in the media several months ago, that your office had been blocked from investigating his murder. That does not make sense to me. I don't understand why you would ever turn down help in an investigation from a U.S. agency with a lot of experience in gathering intelligence on things. That's your job.
The FBI will say, and the DOJ will say, that because it's an ongoing case, it's a Utah state case, that back off, they've got it. They've got a smoking case. They've got the fingerprints on the gun, and they've got the kit.
But the FBI was involved in the case.
The FBI was involved. The FBI's basically said that they're deferring to Utah because it's now a state case.
But they've established a precedent for federal investigation of this crime.
Yeah, and the National Counterterrorism Center's mandate is to investigate any foreign ties, to see if there's potentially any foreign ties. If we don't find any foreign ties, we back off. What I'm saying, without getting into too much detail, is there was more for us to investigate.
You believe there was reason to investigate foreign ties to Charlie Kirk's murder and were told by the FBI, DOJ?
FBI and DOJ, yeah.
No, you're not allowed to investigate that.
Stop. It's done. They basically cut off our access to be able to get into that information. And look, I didn't even say necessarily that I believe there's 100% foreign ties. There were data points that we needed to investigate. I mean, I think anybody who's even looked at any kind of police investigation, you get 100 leads, you run them down, and 99 don't mean anything.
This is crazy. This is fucking crazy, dude. Like, okay, yeah, I've been saying it the whole time. Yes, he's conspiracy theorist, but it's still fucking crazy that this motherfucker is director of the fucking National Counterterrorism Center, and he ODNI, high security fucking clearance in the land. This motherfucker is out here saying that there's reasons to investigate Tyler Robinson for foreign ties. What the fuck are we talking about? Did Charlie? Oh my God. Did Bibi Netanyahu actually have that gummy motherfucker murdered? Oh my God. I don't believe it, but it's in the back of my mind a lot more now. Like, thinking about it.
We still had a lot more leads to run down that pertained to some kind of a foreign nexus that we were stopped from investigating. And,
that just strikes me as inconceivable that could happen. And again, I was aware of it from reading about it, but not really to the extent that you've just described. So I would love to hear the justification for that. And can you flesh that out a little bit more? What were you told was the reason to prevent you, as a federal intelligence official, running the National Counterterrorism Center, from looking into the murder when you had reason to look into it?
Well, the way the bureaucracy works is they can just kill things in process. So initially we were cut off pretty early on from being able to access like the files and to being able to, send people out there. We sent people out initially to work in the task force. After the crisis period, the first week or so, that dispersed, and we basically were told that, hey, we'll get back to you if we find any kind of foreign ties, et cetera, that we want you guys to look into. Meanwhile, we had already dug up a decent amount of leads. Again, I'm not saying that we had anything concrete, but we found more work that we needed to do to say that we had done our due diligence. We were then told that, hey, you guys need to stop. You can't work on this anymore. I had a bureaucratic dispute about it. Eventually, we were allowed to continue to investigate. But then in very short order, all the requests that we would make that normally different parts of the interagency with the FBI being on point would facilitate data share. Data sharing is a big thing that NCTC does. Those requests were just never met, or in my opinion, not an honest effort was given to fulfill those requests. Just basic information that any competent police service, which I believe Utah has, and the FBI, that they would have access to help us run down the leads to either confirm or deny some kind of foreign activity. So we were cut off from that. They didn't ever officially come back and say, you can't look at this anymore. All of the requests just continued to die on the vine with the various agencies that we needed to actually fulfill those requests.
I just can't imagine a legitimate justification for that. I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but from a non-specialist perspective, something horrible has happened. The U.S. government, its core function is to investigate crime, particularly murder. Here you have an agency whose job it is to run down the rabbit trails you've described, and you're stopped from doing that. We don't want the information.
Right.
Why would any person engaged in a legitimate pursuit say, I don't want more information?
I mean, especially considering there was people posting online prior knowledge of what was about to happen. So a lot of the justification for stopping us from investigating hung on, hey, we've got the guy, his fingerprints are on the gun. We got video of him jumping off the roof. Like, this is a slam dunk case. Okay, even if it is a slam dunk case that he took the shot, what about all the people who had prior knowledge? All this, the basic investigative questions of how do you get there? You map it out. Nothing. This isn't rocket science. I mean, this is anything that anyone with common sense would know to ask. But basically, once they caught him, once he turned himself in and his fingerprints were on the gun, it was basically pencils down. Utah has the rest of it. There's nothing else to see here. And, I'm over there thinking I'm in crazy town saying, like, no, we have all these different leads that we need to run down, just from my perspective. Now, the people who had prior knowledge, I believe most of them were American citizens, so that would be on the FBI to go run down. But again, not without saying anything specific, there was more work for us to do on the potential of a foreign nexus. Again, not saying there is one, but we had more work to do, and we were blocked from doing that.
I can't. My heart is pounding listening to this. I mean, I just would want people listening to this to assess two things. One, are you over your skis? Are you making claims you can't prove? No. Two, is there any conceivable motive, dark motive, that you would have for wanting to know more about this murder, to wanting to investigate it? And I don't think any rational person could construct a bad motive for wanting to know. It's your job.
Yeah.
It's the government's job. And so I think the onus is on people who are preventing the collection of information to describe why they're doing that. That's the question for them. Why wouldn't you want to know? Specifically, you may not know the answer, of the people who demonstrated prior knowledge of Charlie Kirk's murder online, and there were a number of them, are you satisfied that all of them were interviewed by the FBI in person? I
have no idea. I don't know. I just think, considering they knew Charlie was going to be assassinated, and there was enough of them that it wasn't just some rando who maybe he tags every TPUSA post with that. There was enough of them that there's something there. I don't know what that something is.
Well, by definition.
But we haven't seen any arrests. So to me, there's more work to be done. And because that could have been posted from anywhere, that would be in the purview of the FBI or NCTC, or if they're overseas. And to me, I personally did not see any effort being taken to continue to run that down. Now, I'm sure they will say, hey, we're open to anything. We'll continue to investigate. But, we're coming up on several months now. Why hasn't this been done?
Are you bothered by it?
I'm very bothered by it. I'm very bothered by it. Like I personally did not know Charlie well, but Charlie Kirk is a generational figure. I mean, he led a movement. He was speaking to millions of young Americans who came out and who voted for President Trump. And he was just a genuine great man, husband, father. I mean, how can you not like Charlie Kirk? But also the fact that he was.
He's a what? He's a unabashed. He was an unabashed racist, homophobic, transphobic piece of fucking shit. He spread hate and was a fearmonger to the nth degree. Just because he didn't like war doesn't mean that he's a good person. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? What? How can you not like Charlie? Any number of the things that he said out of his gummy ass mouth. A whole pack of fucking juicy fruit, bitch.
Was murdered so publicly, and yes, there's been a lot of sympathy, and his movement has grown, etc. But actual curiosity about getting to justice, to figuring out what happened, that makes me furious. That we're being blocked from that, and that we're not allowed to ask the question anymore. We're just not allowed to talk about it anymore. And I think that's absolute insanity. And what does that mean? What does that mean that there are people and there's entities out there that don't want us looking into this? And I'm sure they're preparing the response right now, and they're saying that's because we don't want to screw up the Robinson trial. Like, okay, if the Robinson trial is so slam dunk, then don't worry about it. You know, he's got his fingerprints on the rifle.
If you didn't want to screw up the Robinson trial, you shouldn't have fucking had Kash Patel. You should not have had Kash Patel running point. Girl, you should not have included him on any of the information, any of the meetings, because he was letting everything slip, posting everything on Twitter like a fucking chud,
etc. But there was people publicly posting they had prior knowledge of this, and I'm here telling you, as someone who's
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but
involved in the investigation, there was more stones for us to overturn.
Are you talking about the Etsy witches? Like I don't know what he's talking about. Okay.
And every time we asked, we were blocked. And then they, leaked to New York Times. We had to blow up, and we had to throw them out of the room because they're crazy, et cetera. So it's incredibly frustrating that there's not more, especially considering how pivotal Charlie was to the MAGA movement and to President Trump, that there hasn't been a more concerted effort to find the truth.
He don't give a fuck about him. Like, he does not give a fuck about him. Like, motherfucker. The day after he died, the press was asking questions about, oh, I know Charlie Kirk was like a son to you. How are you holding up after his murder? And he's, oh yeah, he goes, oh fine. Did you see my ballroom? The tractors are here for my ballroom. He does not give a fuck about anybody. He does not have the ability to care for people. He only views people as extensions of himself to reflect upon him, or he views them as a less than cretin. It has he only sees people for what he can get out of them. He does not care about people. He does not have the capacity to care. He's a sociopathic narcissist.
Truth and to find justice.
Do you think there will be?
I pray there is. I hope this helps. I know, you and I will probably take some flack for it.
I don't know why, and I doubt I'll be. Yeah, it's at a certain point. I've really tried not to say anything about it because I don't know the answers, but I want them to be found because I believe in justice and because I love Charlie. And but I think everything you have said, may be dismissed as crazy or evil. But tell me how. Right. With reference to the words you've just spoken, I don't see how someone could level a legitimate attack on you. It won't stop them. You mentioned the breach.
This man is about to be investigated. Probably he's going to have his life turned upside down. We're going to talk about it in a minute, but look at all the political retribution they've done for like people like Letitia James and Comey, and those are people on the other side from them. Like, this is somebody who worked for them, who actually had the knowledge and security clearance, and look at all the shit that he's spilling. They're about to turn this motherfucker's life upside the fuck down. It's not it's not going to be a fun time for him.
Of the president's security that have been reported. One that was reported, and I can't say whether it's true. I'm only asking to see if you know that it is true. But it's been reported that Prime Minister Netanyahu's security detail was caught twice by Secret Service attaching some kind of device to the president's Secret Service emergency response vehicle. I don't know if that's true. Have you heard that?
I've read it in the media. I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
I think the president and the vice president and several members of the cabinet going out to dinner in D.C. and the Code Pink protesters having a heads up about that to rent the table. And that's hard to do. They had to figure out where they'd rent the table. They had to kind of get the restaurant on board.
I will say, good for Code Pink, but at the same time, it should be concerning to them that they had prior knowledge of where the president was going to be. Like, that's some, like, JFK shit. Like, you're not supposed to know where the president is going to be hours before he's there. Like, in order to get a reservation at a busy restaurant in D.C. where the president would be, like a fancy restaurant, you would need it to know hours in advance. So it should be concerning to them, at least. And he is, like, attaching all these things to Israel, and basically just, without saying it a lot of time, he's just saying, I think it's Israel.
To a certain extent. To me, that's kind of a almost like counting coup. It's a soft flex. It's a I can touch you whenever I want. It was Code Pink. They weren't going to do anything. We know. They're just going to be kind of crazy and annoying. However, what does that mean? That means you've got real problems with your security detail. And then, a few weeks later, you have an armed police officer who's off duty, who's not part of the president's detail, come right up and shake the president's hand. And the guy's probably patriotic American, whatever. He probably just wanted to shake the president's hand legitimately. But that got a lot of publicity. And what does that mean? And the president, again, President Trump is very smart. I think President Trump has a gift for interpreting large sets of data.
Yes.
And making very, very key strategic decisions.
You can't even read.
And so when the president sees that he's got issues with his own security detail, when he sees what happened in Butler with the other assassination attempts, when he sees what happened with Charlie, I think it's reasonable to believe that somewhere in his head he thinks that, like, maybe I don't have a choice. Maybe they could harm me or they could harm my family. And if they can't keep me safe, I believe the president deeply cares. I believe he's very courageous. I think if it was just a matter of he worried about his own physical safety, I don't think he cares. We saw that in Butler. But he does love his family, and he's got a big family. And so somewhere in his head, if they can't keep me safe...
Unless your name is Tiffany, the fuck? Like,
what about my family? So, look, maybe the president was just simply deceived by the echo chamber we described, and that's how we got to this place. But it's also, there's a potential that there's an element of coercion, intimidation, whatever words you want to use there, that is also influencing his decision-making.
If you were assessing a similar...
His decision-making. So, in your words, he's making the decisions. So he made the decision to send the country to war. It was not Israel. Place the blame where it lies, bitch.
Situation in another country, a country not your own. And you, as an expert on these questions, which obviously you are, I gave you the same data set you've just presented to me. And I said, would you say that's just crazy even to bring that up as a possibility?
Not at all. I mean, when you map out those data points, I would just say this moves from being a possibility to potentially, depending on how you look at it and interpret it, this could be a likelihood. It would be something that I'm sure that we would debate rigorously, but nobody would dismiss it altogether. With all this data, it's not nothing. It's something that has to be looked into.
Is it being looked into?
Again, I don't think it is. I think that with Butler, your investigative journalist found more about crooks than the entire government. And the
response I received from the FBI was so hostile that it confused me, and it still does confuse me a lot. It confuses me a lot since I didn't approach the question with anything like that in mind. I mean, we put this documentary out. We got information, the information you described. We got a lot of his online activity, which we've been told didn't exist. And this was not an attack on the FBI. This was, of course, during the last administration with a different director. So this was hardly a partisan hit job. This is the president of the United States, who I campaigned for and voted for and have liked for many years. So like
3 times.
it's not an attack. And the response that I got was hysterical.
Yep.
That's not an overstatement.
Yep.
And it confuses me.
Yeah.
Have you had experiences like that?
There was a level.
It was staged, Tucker. Like, there's a very simple solution. He staged it. He wanted people to like rally around him and like, oh wow, he took a bullet for us. Blah 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 blah. You know, it was just like an ear piercing. Like it was staged. It was theater, theatrics.
You know, just hostility coming from really the FBI. And some of it, I think, is just like rivalry. Like, why are you looking over my shoulder?
Yeah,
Like, I got this.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with that. I mean, we're the same way in the military, so I got
I'm
it.
sure that's right.
Totally, I totally get that.
They were treating like you were in the Air Force kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, what do you know? Like, we're the FBI. Like, gotcha. But we had a role to play, and the way that we were aggressive.
There is jurisdiction in turf wars within these agencies, but for the most part, people are open to help. Like, as long as they're the ones who get the caller, like, at the end of the day, like, they are open to help a lot of the time, especially from different agencies that have different areas of expertise than they do, because they just spend their days doing this specific thing, like this stuff. So, like, most people within these agencies will accept help when the time comes.
Aggressively blocked from that. I found the hostility to be above and beyond what you would think that you'd find with just typical, rivalry, bureaucratic rivalry, turf wars, those types of things. Some of that was at play, but the level of like, you cannot look at this, and then for them to escalate it, to attempt to get us kicked out of the case. That to me was very surprising. Same thing with Butler. When we first started asking questions about Butler, I thought, because especially that happened under the Biden administration, that, hey, we would come in and we would get the truth, because, the previous administration really screwed this thing up. And there just wasn't curiosity there. There wasn't curiosity, and there wasn't a tolerance whatsoever for us going after just the key questions of like, hey, did the informant that you had that was interacting with this guy, Mershant, was he in communication with anybody in Butler? I mean, basic questions to ask. Again, this is nothing that's going to blow any investigator's socks off. Just those basic questions. Like, no, the two aren't related. Like, you can't talk about it. You can't ask any of those questions. Even when we found data that needed to be looked in. Yeah, I mean, they would say at the time, like, well, the Mershant case is ongoing, et cetera. Like, we can't interfere if that case is over. So, I mean, at this point,
I don't understand. I think this is like a new rule.
Yeah.
Which is to say, a fake rule that you're not allowed to gather information about anything that might potentially intersect with an ongoing case that's not directly related. Like, who made that up?
I think that's just made up. I don't, because then how do you ever investigate anything?
So people don't look into things. Like, they don't want scrutiny. They don't want people to know the truth. Staged.
What law school did you go to? And I asked this question and was like, yeah, cases have been overturned on this basis. And it's like, well, cases have been overturned on many bases, but
right.
How is that? Is this like the new standard? Because you would not be able to investigate anything.
Right, exactly. And we want to get to the truth. And
so what is that for those of us following along at home who don't have a high level of familiarity with the process? What could that possibly be? The current president was the subject of a near successful assassination attempt, like recently.
Yeah.
And we're just not going to look into very obvious leads or divulge information that everyone knows they have. For example, the surveillance tape from the shooting range at which Thomas Crooks trained, because it would answer the question, was he training with somebody? And if so, who? They have that footage and they won't release it.
Secret Service. I'm just kidding. But I don't know.
What could possibly be the explanation for that?
I know what the result is. The result is people come to their own conclusions.
This is what I was holding out for. This is I'm going to turn it back 10 seconds. What he's about to say is very important.
Won't release it. What could possibly be the explanation for that?
I know what the result is. The result is people come to their own conclusions, and this is where like crazy conspiracy theories come from. And then those conspiracy theories usually are easy to debunk or make the people saying them sound crazy. So then the actual question never gets answered.
Right? I'm sorry. Can you say that? for people who haven't lived in Washington, okay, I try to explain this to people all the time because this has been ongoing since at least the Kennedy assassination. But this is a very serious and reoccurring thing. It's a tactic. And you just explained it better than anyone I've ever heard. Can you just do that again if you can recall it from memory?
Yeah, I mean, so basically you give no information whatsoever on something that's obvious that there should be information. Like you outlined, like there's potentially footage of crooks at the shooting range. Again, Police 101, go get the tapes. Let's figure it out. If you don't want to address that question, then you go silent on it and you say you can't ask that question, which then creates people who come out of kind of nowhere and they start drawing their own conclusions.
Right.
Candace Owens.
Knowing the way the internet works, I mean, half of them, if not more, are probably going to be so far off in left field and made by legitimate kooks or bots that then you can just be like, oh, these people asking these questions about that tape at the video range.
It's space
They're all
aliens.
crazy conspiracy theorists. They say it's a UAP or whatever. And so then you've just, diverted all attention away from the thing that you're trying to conceal. And now everyone's focused on the crazies.
Man.
And then
This is a very true thing that like for him to be admitting this is very fucking. He was the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. That was it. That title is a big deal. Okay, him admitting this is a big fucking deal. We all know this to be true. They go silent on an issue that we all know there's like he said, we all know that you should have information on this and you should be able to make it public, but you're not. Why? And then all the fucking loudmouths come out of the fucking crazies and start talking about how some bullshit fucking like the bullet moved in a fucking different direction. like talking about Egyptian planes and French legionnaires and all this fucking bullshit. And you're like, well, I don't want to be grouped in with these conspiracy theorists on working two sides of Psycho Street. Like, I don't want to be grouped in with them. So I'm going to be like, okay, whatever. I'm just not going to deal with that. Like, that's crazy. I'll just defer to the official story because the official story is a lot less crazy than Egyptian planes and French legionnaires and Charlie Kirk is a time-traveling mutant. For all Candace did to point the finger at Israel and try and investigate this, she also shot herself in the foot just as much because you cannot just pull every single fucking thread because this is what fucking happens, and you actually inadvertently helped the cover up. This is what's so bad about conspiracy theorists. You obfuscate the actual truth of what's going on when there is a clear story that we could probably make if you didn't go off on all these different off ramps that just go to crazy town. Candace,
the second someone asks a legitimate question, they're crazy.
I hope everyone watching will just clip that tape and keep it on your phone and replay it every day, because that is one of the primary ways that the intel agencies and federal law enforcement influence public opinion, influence elections. That's the way they influence the perception of what's going on.
I mean, look at what fucking happened with Epstein. The QAnon people were fucking right. There was a kernel of truth to it, but they went crazy. They went on way too many off ramps, talk about pizza orders and the fucking pizza. What's that fucking pizza place called? I don't fucking care. Pizzagate and all that bullshit. They took it way too far. Went off in crazy fucking weird, Hillary Clinton and all the fucking Hollywood elite. No, but there actually was a group, a cabal of pedophile elite billionaires trafficking children. It just was over here, and they pointed you towards these crazy conspiracy theorists to make everybody feel like they were a conspiracy theorist if they believed it. This is what happens all the fucking time because they it's crazy, and this is part of the reason that Alex Jones has inadvertently been so helpful to the American government, because of almost all of the shit that he used to say has come true, and he has gone so crazy off the deep end that he doesn't even realize. You cannot just have a life going off and pulling every single fucking thread when there's a very obvious long one right here that you can just keep on pulling. Like you can't go in every single direction. You need to choose a path, and conspiracy theorists cannot. They need to try and find just like the most unbelievable thing, because they need to try and make it true, and they want to be right and prove that they're right, even though that, like, you could just look at the facts and find out what's going to happen, or what did happen. You don't have to make shit up.
But more than anything, it's the way that they hide their own behavior from the public.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the administration, I think it was it was January 23rd, was like right after the inauguration, the president issued an executive order calling for the total declassification, release of all documents relevant to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
All right, so that's all I wanted to show you guys. But like, this is just fucking insane. Like I keep on saying, and I said like 100 times this video, this man, Joe Kent, he is a January 6th-er. He was associated with the Proud Boys. He is a Stop the Steal guy. Like, he is a hardcore mega Trump voter. So it does hold a lot. There's part that's like, that makes me feel like he's crazy, and then you can't trust him. And then there's the other part of like, well, it kind of says more that he's going against this regime because he is such a cultist, a mega cultist, but he's not fully going against the regime because he's not actually calling out Trump and placing the blame on who actually is to blame. And then you also have the fact that he was a high-ranking official in the cabinet of the president in the ODNI. Like that, there's a lot of different things to remember, but at the same time, this is fucking crazy. Like, what? If there's any kernel of truth to half the shit that we just reacted to today, like, it's insane. Like, what? And we know that there's a ton of truth to what he did say, but there are paths that, like, we don't know for sure. But the fact that the former, until 2 days ago, less than 48 hours ago, the director for the National Counterterrorism Center is saying all of this is fucking crazy. It's just fucking crazy, okay? Like, I don't even know how to assess it. And I just don't know what to. I don't know. So now this motherfucker it came out today. Joe Kent is being investigated by the FBI, and the investigation for a possible intelligence leak, which who knows if he did leak something, and if he did leak something to do with the fucking war in order to tell the public and warn us, then, like, honestly, good for him. It was like I said, the act of what he is doing is heroic. That doesn't make him a hero, but what he is doing is heroic. There is a lot of bravery in this, and it is signing himself up to, like, a lot of backlash, and this is part of it. And who even knows? He might be indicted, like, or deposed. We don't know. Hold in front of Congress or something, like, we don't know. But this is just the start of this man having his life turned over. And the investigation predates his resignation. So they were on to him before he fucking even quit, is what they're saying. Like, they were already investigating him. So now Kash Patel is going to be investigating him. Like, my God. Fucking cuckoo. Jesus fucking Christ. This is a fucking insane. I don't know. We are Charlie Kirk, I guess. Okay, so the war in Iran has escalated once more, because of course it has. It can't ever de-escalate, and we can't ever have an off-ramp presented. We can't negotiate a peace talk. We have to keep trucking and keep on carpet bombing and keep on escalating and keep on getting hit. Like, that's what we have to do. That's the strategy here, with no goal in mind, mind you. So, like, who knows what the fuck we're going for till? Like, what is the goal here? Still don't know. So Today, overnight, Israel and the U.S. had targeted a nuclear enrichment site in Iran. Iran has, in response, retaliated, tried to target a nuclear power plant in Dimona and in Israel. And now Trump is threatening nuclear power plants in Iran. And a nuclear power plant exploding, blowing up, would be a fucking disaster, okay? Have you ever heard of a little place called Chernobyl nuclear power plant? That that exploded, and it had to be abandoned for decades. Like, thousands of people got cancer, a lot of people died. It was an environmental disaster. Like, just recently they started trying to clean up the nuclear reactor in Chernobyl, and it's projected to take up to like 40 years. It's going to be up till like they're going to be done in like 2065. That's 40 years from now. It's already been 40 years since it happened. Like, it would be a fucking disaster if a nuclear power plant blew up. It wouldn't just miraculously blow up, but if a nuclear power plant was bombed, and then what is they're just going to escalate it even further. And this is after Donald Trump tweeted out like last night that the war in Iran is winding down, and then they they tried to target a nuclear enrichment site. What? Like, mind you, also, Israel is saying at the same time that next week will be the biggest week of strikes yet. Like, it's crazy. The dissonance in between these people is just absolutely fucking insane. Now we have, I believe Israel's military said early Sunday, it's early Sunday in Israel right now, Sunday, that it had begun a new wave of strike. I'm assuming that's supposed to say strikes on Tehran, targeting Iranian infrastructure. So they're starting a new wave of strikes, and like, who knows how bad this is going to be. Like, thousands of people are already dead. It's escalating every fucking week. It's not getting any fucking better. And seemingly, I think Trump tweeted that thing when he said, he didn't tweet it actually, he put on his fucking dumbass True Social, but he posted that thing where Iran is winding down last night at like 6 p.m. And I feel like there's a lot of speculation that it's just like he's trying to manipulate the markets by like saying shit like that, because almost every single Friday he says some shit like that, and then and then after the markets close, they escalate the war even more. Like, it's fucking bullshit. So Iran fired missiles at the U.S.-UK Diego Garcia military base in the Indian Ocean. That was something else, but they said the strikes were unsuccessful. And then the UK foreign minister came out, was like, I condemn Iran for these reckless attacks. And it's like, reckless? What the fuck are you talking about, reckless? Have you seen Tehran? You piece of fucking shit. You're sitting there over there not getting bombed at all, safe and secure in the UK, and you have the nerve like, oh, it's reckless for you to have attacked this base. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Yeah, it's reckless. You know what else is reckless? Carpet bombing Tehran for weeks now. The fuck? What choice do they have other than like to fight back? Israel and the U.S. targeted an Iranian nuclear enrichment plant overnight. The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency has called for restraint. Good luck. Iran said there had not been any radioactive leakage and no residents were in danger, which is very good. Thank God. Like, this has already been such a fucking environmental disaster. We'll talk about that in a minute. But like, just the scale of this is just like, not only that, the amount of people who are going to get sick from this. Like, it's just, there was like the oil was falling out the fucking sky. Like, it was raining oil last week or the week before. Like, these people, like, God. So yeah, he posted on his fucking dumbass Truth Social website last night that he is considering winding down military operations against Iran, which I actually pulled this up because this is fucking stupid. He's such a fucking maniac. And then after he tweeted this was yesterday, last night at 6:13 p.m. He tweeted this, posted this, and then they struck the power plant overnight. Like, or tried to. So he says, "We are getting very close to meeting our objectives as we consider winding down our great military efforts in the Middle East with respect to the terrorist regime of Iran. 1. Completely degrading Iranian missile capability, launchers, and everything else pertaining to them. 2. Destroying Iran's defense industrial base. And 3. Eliminating their navy and air force, including anti-aircraft weaponry." You haven't done any of this, really. Completely degrading the... No, this is just all... He's saying that he's saying that you've done this? That's crazy. 4. Never allowing Iran to get even close to nuclear capability and always being in a position where the USA can quickly and powerfully react to such a situation should it take place. You were just like that. So you're saying like, oh, we'll invade as soon as we think that you have nuclear capabilities again, even though they didn't even have them this time. And 5, protecting at the highest level our Middle Eastern ally. Girl, the fuck, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, and others. Protecting? The only person you've protected in all of that is Israel. You left every single other one of your allies out to fucking dry. They're out sitting ducks because of you. You literally voluntold them you're getting bombed. What the fuck? This dude is absolutely fucking maniacal. What is wrong with you? You demented felon? Like, well, that's what. Jesus. The Hormuz Strait will have to be guarded and policed as necessary by other nations who use it. Jesus Christ. The United States does not. Oh my God. If asked, we will help these countries in their Hormuz efforts, but it shouldn't be necessary once Iran's threat is eradicated. Importantly, it will be an easy military operation for them. Thank you for your attention, this matter. So he's like pledging everybody else to go guard and protect the strait. He's like, we break this, but you guys got to go figure it out. Like, you bought it. We break it, hand it over to you. Like, what the fuck? I can't believe. And they actually announced that they're going to go to protect the strait. I think 22 countries. Absolutely fucking insane. Hello? More than 20 countries now say they are ready to contribute to the safe passage of ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. You fucking kidding me? It said they were ready to contribute appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the waterway, which is critical to global oil markets. Okay. Like, okay. Sure. Capitulate to the fascist. Good job. The IDF killed 4 Hezbollah members in southern Lebanon overnight. Just like, they've been non-stop hitting Lebanon like fucking crazy. And same with Gaza too now. Like, they even say it right here. European diplomats have criticized increasing settler terror in the West Bank. Okay, not even Gaza, it's the West Bank. I just thought Palestinians. Sorry. It's in the West Bank, which is absolutely, it's extremely, I mean, the occupation, I mean, all of it's illegal as fuck, but like, they're not supposed to be in the West Bank either. Like, the West Bank is not Gaza, and it's a different area, and they are not, the West Bank is nowhere near what Gaza looks like, and they're trying to move in on it now, and like, Jesus fucking Christ. With 6 Palestinians shot dead in settler attacks in the area this month, representatives of 13 European countries, including the UK and France, issued a joint statement alongside Canada. Well, it's not just the West Bank. Like, I appreciate it, but like, since the ceasefire, Israel has broken it like every single fucking day, and it's been mum's the word from most world leaders. So I just don't understand, like, why. Okay. So after it was the nuclear enrichment sites in Iran were targeted, and I think the attacks were unsuccessful, like we said, Iran attacked Dimona in Israel after the US and Israel attacked the Bushehr power plant and the Natanz facilities. So again, like, they escalated it, and Iran is going tit for tat, just like they have every single fucking time the US has escalated this. It's just, what does Professor Robert Pape call it? Like the escalation thing? Trap. The escalation trap. You're just like, you're trapped in this like game of escalation where you're just gonna like, there's nowhere to go but up with in this like, you are just, there's no winning here. Like, they're just going to keep on going. So there was no indication of damage to the nuclear research center in Israel. And then just a fucking, Trump threatens Iran with further attacks at the, so within like 24 hours, basically, it's March 20th, 6:13 p.m. Then he tweets this March 21 at 8:44 p.m. So within like 32 hours. If Iran doesn't fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours from this exact point in time, the United States of America will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest one first. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. This is the semi-nuclear option. Like, I actually, like, a power plant, various power plants that it would be a huge fucking deal if they're not able to have energy. That is the, like, not only that, if you are actually going to hit nuclear power plants, like I said, sure fucking noble, bitch. The fuck? Chernobyl disaster. Predictions of the eventual total death toll vary. A 2006 World Health Organization study projected 9,000 cancer-related fatalities in Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. Just absolutely fucking insane. It's the most expensive disaster in history, with an estimated cost of $700 billion. Fucking Christ. In 2016 to 2018, the Chernobyl new safe confinement was constructed around the old sarcophagus to enable the removal of the reactor debris, with cleanup scheduled for completion by 2065. 2065. 40 years from now. Just absolutely fucking insane. They started that 10 years ago. Like, that is what he's threatening right now. Along with, like, there are electrical power plants, and yes, and like, but even if he hits all of those, starting with the biggest fucking ones, what are they supposed to do without power? Energy. I don't know. Like, President Trump, who days ago publicly called on Israel to avoid targeting Iranian energy sites for fear of triggering an escalating cycle of counterstrikes, threatened to hit Iran's power plants if it did not fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours. He said that the American strikes on the Iranian plants would start with the biggest one first. Iran's largest plant appears to be its only operating nuclear power plant at Bushehr. For decades, nuclear power plants have been considered off limits because of the obvious risk of environmental catastrophe. The US has led efforts to keep Russia and Ukraine from firing near the nuclear power plant since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, whose share is fueled by Russian-provided uranium and monitored by the IAEA agency. It is not considered part of Ukraine's nuclear weapons program. The spent fuel is returned to Russia. So this is what he's talking about. Like, this is what he's threatening. The biggest one first is a nuclear power plant. He's threatening to blow up a nuclear power plant in Iran, which would have a cascading effect. Obviously, they would hit one next. And not just target it, they would actually hit it. They would find a way. They are very resourceful. Look at how the war is going. And it probably wouldn't even cost them a lot with all the fucking little tiny drones that they have. This is not a good fucking thing. Like, this is a big fucking deal. This is... I don't even know how to stress how big of a deal it is. Like, this fucking maniac. And he's been, he's been fucking itching to fucking, like, nuke him or fucking do fucking something. Just fucking get it over with. And this is, like... It would be a shit show. It would not be good. Because then one of the surrounding neighbors in the Gulf states, one of their nuclear power plants would probably be struck. One of the nuclear power plants in Israel would probably be struck. Who knows what military bases might be struck in the region, or if oil facilities might get struck because of it. We don't know. Like, like I said, it's just an escalation trap. Search up Professor Robert Pape. So the U.S.-Israel war on Iran is a disaster for the climate, according to analysis that finds it is draining the global carbon budget faster than 84 countries combined. It's just been a few weeks. As warplanes, drones, and missiles kill thousands of people, level infrastructure, and turn the Middle East into a gigantic environmental sacrifice zone, the first analysis of the climate costs has found the conflict led to 5 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions in its first 14 days. Just absolutely fucking insane. And not to mention, like, this is just talking about the environment. Who knows the effects of this on people's health? We have already saw Gulf War syndrome, and like the cascading effects of this is going to be tenfold for a very long time. This is a fucking disaster. It's not fucking like support the troops. What to do? So it's not just oil that comes through the Strait of Hormuz, it's also fertilizer. And with fertilizer costs right now already being high due to the war in Ukraine, they haven't really been getting a lot of profits on a lot of their harvests in the past couple years, farmers. And so this has just made it so much fucking worse. The price of fertilizer has gone through the roof to the point where it's not sustainable at all. They're not making nearly enough or any money on their crops at this point, and it's just a fucking shit show. It's not sustainable. Like, it's not going to work out. This needs to end soon. And if it doesn't end soon, the price for fertilizer will stay or keep on rising. The price for the harvest will start to rise, and that way your groceries will start to cost a whole lot more. And then people aren't going to have enough money to actually buy fruits and vegetables, and it's going to lead to a huge nutrition crisis, like, which is like not what we need to worry about right now. But like, it's already it's already like, fucking difficult to fucking eat healthy in America as is, with the amount of food deserts and like insane prices on certain things, and you're like, it was already difficult for working class families as is. The price for gas is about to go up. The price for food is going to go up. The price for everything is about to go up because, like, this is just absolutely fucking insane. The price for oil, because of that, is going to be so high. The price for gas, and not only that, the jet fuel and fuel for boats and all of these things, like, that's going to cost a lot more, making the shipping a lot more, which will make everything cost a lot more because all of your production is offshore in America. So you're kind of like, you're going to be shit out of fucking luck trying to ship anything in. Plus, you have the tariffs. Like, it's not, this is just a whole cascading shit show. Like, there's not, there's no upside to this. And now that this is going on, you're going onto your what, like third or fourth week in your on this war with Iran, and now Donald Trump is releasing sanctions on Iranian oil, making it so it's a lot easier for Iranians to make money on their oil at this time where oil prices are through the roof, meaning that they're going to be able to get billions of dollars to fund their war because Donald Trump decided to lift the sanctions. So now Russia had their sanctions lifted. You're funding the war in Ukraine fought by Russia. So you're trying to fund a war, this proxy war against Russia, and you release the sanctions, you lift the sanctions on Russia, making it so they can fund their war, and then you start this war with Iran, who's getting help from Russia, and then you release the sanctions on their oil so they can fund the war on you. What are we doing? Whoa, that's that's 5D chess. It must be. Because I can't fucking understand it. Bitch, I don't think you could play tic-tac-toe at this point. This is not 5D chess. This is not even checkers. This is absolutely fucking bullshit. Like, what? I'm... Okay. Alright. So, what the fuck? Sorry, I just noticed what that said. Mega black Nazi? What? Huh? I think I just got an aneurysm. Okay, wait. No. Wait, what? Mega black Nazi names Trump in twisted sex confession? I'm good. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. Fuck that. Like, what? Okay. So, sorry, what? Okay. So, President Donald Trump is scrambling to contain the economic consequences from his war with Iran. Consequences he was repeatedly warned about before launching the campaign. The Treasury Department announced on Friday the decades-old sanctions on Iranian oil have been lifted on 140 million barrels that have already been shipped out of the Strait of Hormuz. A move that will likely help Iran finance its war effort against the U.S. So the U.S. is helping Iran finance the war against the U.S. You are a dumb bitch. You are a dumb bitch, Donald Trump and Scott Bessent. You bitch ass. The fuck? Scott Bessent wrote on social media Friday night that lifting the sanctions first imposed after Iran's 1979 revolution will help to relieve the temporary pressures on the supply caused by Iran. Caused by Iran? Pressures on the supply caused by Iran is crazy. Did Iran attack you? No, they didn't. Right. You started the legal and offensive war. It's because of you, bitch. The call is coming from inside the house. And on the other side is Benjamin Netanyahu. Anyways, leading up to the war, Trump had been repeatedly warned by his top generals that Iran would likely disrupt the Strait of Hormuz in response to a U.S. attack. In several briefings, General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, warned the president that Iran would send missiles and drones to the area, but the president moved forward with an attack anyway. Because, he had a feeling. He felt it in his bones. Next time you have a feeling, go to the doctor, or go sit on the toilet or something. Bye. What? Who asked you about your feelings? You have careerists who spent their entire lives doing these bullshit fucking boring jobs, and with all this fucking expertise, you, the reality TV show host, are going to come in and say, I know better than them. Oh, okay. Mind you, he's demented. Okay. The sanctions lift has left experts and lawmakers puzzled as they argue that it will provide Iran with a sudden influx of cash, up to $14 billion by one estimate. So now the U.S. is basically funding the war in Iran for Iran. They're funding Iran. $14 billion. That will only help it against its. That will only help as it fights against the U.S. This is so crazy. This is so stupid. What are we doing? What are we doing? Hello? Earth to America. Houston, we have a problem. What is going on? This move directly contradicts Trump's own statements that the United States is considering winding down this conflict. Brett Erickson, managing principal at Obsidian Risk Advisors, which specializes in financial crime and regulatory issues, told the Washington Post. You don't unsanction Iranian oil if you're winding down. This is an action of an administration that has no exit ramp and knows it. The word for that is desperation, he continued. Damn. Well, they are desperate. The only reason, like I said, I feel like he said they're winding down before the markets closed, so that people wouldn't freak out, and he was trying to manipulate everybody, and then they escalated the war that night. That's what they've done every single fucking time, every single Friday. The war started on a Friday at 2 a.m. Or it was Sunday or Saturday morning, but it was 2 a.m. on a Friday night. And they struck and escalated last time on Friday night. I think it was Carg Island got hit. It's what they've done every single fucking time. It's so fucking if you think this many weeks in, the market would kind of be okay, he's a liar. Also, all the evidence we have of him lying. A senior researcher on Iran at the Institute for National Security Studies told NBC News that the U.S. is funding a war against itself. Ding, 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 ding. That's some dumb shit. So I'll leave you with this because I don't know much about the stock market, so I'm not going to talk out of my ass. But I'll just say this is not going for a president that really only cares about the stock market. To him, the economy is the stock market, Donald Trump. And the only people he really listens to are billionaires, oligarchs, Wall Street people. That's who he actually cares about the opinions of, which is why Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff were able to. I don't even know. Do they have positions? I don't think they do. Do they have security clearance? I don't think they do. So why are they making foreign trade agreements and negotiating peace talks and doing foreign policy? Like, what? While enriching themselves. These motherfuckers have no business near any part of our foreign policy, and yet they are over here dictating a ton of it. The president's son-in-law, that's his title. That's the only title he holds within the cabinet. Son-in-law. He failed his security clearance in the first term, and now he's not been sworn in, he's not been voted in, he's not been elected. Like he's just there. And fucking Steve Witkoff is like a special envoy to the Middle East. Whatever the fuck that means. Like, can we... anyways, sorry for that tangent. But the U.S. stock market dips for the fourth straight week over the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. Markets seem particularly attuned to increasing oil prices, with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ down 1.5% and 2% respectively. The Dow has lost over 400 points. That's how I hear her voice. Like, the Dow is at 50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. The Dow is at 50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. All right, everybody. This is good, but what a shit show. That's all I have to say.